You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting season. Come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh at me, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready, you got one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting season. Come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Yo,
Good evening.
what is going on, everybody? My name is Joe Rad. Welcome to the PlayStation Collectors Podcast, Season 4, Episode 10. Joining us this evening is our illustrious guest, Mr. DStreet. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Good to be back on as always.
Good to have you back on. Reggie couldn't make it this evening. He's busy working on videos for everybody, keeping the pickup train going for everybody. And then Figsy, he'll be along in a little bit. He's just running a little late down under. He said something about a wallaby and a Tasmanian devil. I don't know. I can't understand him sometimes, but he said he'll be along a little bit. But yeah, man, how you been? What's going on? What's new and what's exciting?
Been great. Recently went on a road trip with a good friend who's probably watching right now. That we traveled upstate Michigan before the UPs. We grew up like the tip of the mid area, and it's just where we grew up at. We haven't been there in a long time. Took us to stores that we both went to often, and I also took him to ones that he's never been to. Basically did some game hunting, some stores we never, like, as I said, he's never been to, and we equally got some stuff that we were after. Look forward to sharing some of that later on too when we get to it.
Very cool.
Pretty good variety of stuff as well too, thankfully.
We're gonna have some banger pickups, is what you're saying? Because I got some good ones too, man. I got a lot of stuff, so should be a good, should be a good time. Which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure every episode I say I'm gonna slow down buying things. I'm like, I really gotta cut back on it, and every week I'm like, I got more shit than ever. I don't know.
Well, at least I am happy to say that I'm not in a position where I am losing sleep of stuff that I don't own yet. And it's just if, say, like stuff comes in at local stores that really is a good deal, or say like probably it is like a limited run release. And when it shows up to my local stores, they actually sell, if it's like an open copy, for what, say, like price charting says, which is always cheaper, and online on eBay, like they always sell for brand new copies, always. And if it's something always been after, I always take advantage of that before it's gone. But not like seriously looking for a lot of stuff these days, because when debt gets completely paid off, then that's when be back to getting like the serious stuff that I'm after.
That's cool. Yeah, so luckily I'm not like in a debt situation, but like I just had to spend a ton of money on my puppy for a little she had to go to the doctor to have a little operation, and that just took a huge chunk out of my savings. So I'm fine and everything, but it's just, oh dude, it just makes me sick spending that much money, even though I need to, but it's just like, you're like, how much? So I got to recoup some funds, but yeah, so it looks worse than it is, but a lot of this is like some stuff came in from limited run. You know how that is. I ordered that like who knows how long ago. So, but yeah, man, you want to talk about a packed news week? Good God, there was so much news going on right now. I didn't even know there's just too much to talk about.
And admittedly, like there was like one particular thing that's just been on my mind for the last few days, just looking at so many people talking about one subject that we'll definitely talk about. But yeah, as you said, plenty of stuff getting announced this week, honestly.
Well, what's on your mind, man? What's been what are you thinking about?
The Concord stuff.
Oh, Concord.
Okay. Or basically how DEI seems to be getting involved in just entertainment media more than ever, it seems. But it seems like with the recent like big failures, like Concord as an example has been happening, it really seems that the general public or just fans in the community are just giving the companies a reality check that we don't want this stuff at all.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, it's always been true, to be honest with you. Like this whole thing has just been like a giant gaslighting campaign when everyone's like, everybody loves this, and everyone's the whole time like, no, not really. But like honestly, I mean, this is hard to. I personally think it's more like a dislike of the people who promote these ideas more than the ideas. Like I just don't like the people. They're like so holier than thou and like think they're better than everybody, and they're just really condescending. Basically. Yeah, and they're honestly they think they're smarter than everyone, which is like honestly a huge sign that you're stupid. Just so you know, if you constantly think about you're smarter than everybody, you're probably really not that smart. That's just a fact.
Yeah,
like,
but I do like agree. Like their goal is completely understandable for these identity politics, let's say, but it becomes a problem with how forceful it seems whenever they try to get involved with stuff, and therefore they make the worst of that whole association come to light. That it just makes people who just stay out of it just look down upon it at the end of the day. That's it.
I mean, there's a lot of problems with it, and I can go on and on. But like to me, it's just a matter of just like I don't like ugly art all the time. Like I do sometimes. Like I like horror, and I like darkness, and I like heavy metal, and I like ugly art in that stuff for the most part. But like, I don't know, man. When you're trying to make a game that's not like that, like things should look nice and look good, and I don't think they do a good job with these things. Like they purposely uglify everything, which is weird.
It's so weird. Yeah.
Who would want to play like the whole point of like role playing in a game is to like pretend you're someone else and then like pretend you're that person and kind of get into it. And like, why would you ever want to be uglier in a game?
Yeah. Why do you want to play as a character that is, say, like a direct reflection of yourself? And if you think, you got problems and it's being reflected on that, I don't want to be reminded of my problems. Honestly, I want to, as you said, role play as a character that's probably like an idol, or I just really love that character in general. So it's great to engage it with it, and it also helps create a massive group of people that want to cosplay, and combine that, it just drives up a lot of merchandise sale for these companies in the long run. When I see like all of the whole roster in Concord, it's like these are just badly designed. They're so boring,
bland.
And they also do not fit well for like their actual gameplay style as well. A great comparison, like everyone has done, obviously, is Overwatch. Every single character in that game is very well designed and are super memorable. One thing to why that is of course like the cinematics that they released. Like they released plenty of them before Overwatch 1 even came out, but the personalities they showed off was very, very memorable, and even for the way they look, really reflects how they are for their gameplay style. Great example, I don't remember the name of it, but it's the one that is in like blue armor, and she is like flying and just rains missiles down from above. Farah, yes, thank you. You just look at her design when she's fully kitted out. She clearly has like wings in the back.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Hey,
whoa, there he is, Mr. Fixie.
What's going on, guys? Well, the cat just dragged in. I have an excuse for being late today. I have a good excuse.
All right, what was it? Let's hear it.
I woke up at 4:30 today to play in a Geoguessr tournament that went for like 5 hours, and then I went back to bed for like 3 hours, and
that's fair.
Yeah, is it winter over there? Because you are really dressed up for it, I can tell.
It's kind of odd.
It is winter, yeah, it's freezing. And I'm living where it's cold, and I've never experienced winter before, so it's like my first winter ever.
Really?
You guys are both from northern states, so you'll understand that. Yeah, well, I lived basically like in the Australia version of Florida for my whole life, and now I'm
Okay.
Just opposite
now I'm on
side of
opposite
the
end.
land. Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely a change of climate for you, so get used to it pretty soon for winter.
I'll tell
Especially
you
if
one
you have
thing:
to
if it's
drive
nicer
out.
for the video games, it's definitely better to have the game stored in like a cool temperature rather than
Absolutely.
Agreed. Yes.
humidity. And I always had to have the aircon on to cool the room down to make sure they were like in a nice temperature. So not being able to have to worry about that's nice. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I've always I mean, I don't know if this is true or everything, but when people talk about having like disc rot problems and stuff like that, I've always just assumed it was more like a humidity thing. I'm assuming
Just keeping them in like extreme temperatures seems to really like make it happen faster. It seems, as I've seen videos of people like really purposely trying to get disc rot to happen, and it's really, if you really try and just keep it in like a really bad like environment, like leave it outside in the winter for months straight, or just out in like 90-degree weather, then that will make it happen faster. But
I have seen disc rot, not on my games, but I've seen it on games that are like left out in the sun and things like that. One thing that isn't disc rot, but that it's crazy to me is I
What up,
picked up
Marcus?
these PS3 games once, and in the photo they were sun faded. All right, so I was expecting them to be damaged and everything. They were cheap, like a couple of dollars a piece for some expensive games. They were sun faded that bad that the plastic on the spine had actually ripped on every single one of them.
oh jeez.
Yeah, it was wild. All
So,
the colors, spines were different colors, different things like that.
Oh yeah, Switch games drive me crazy because I feel like no matter what, I always get some spines that are a little more faded than the others, and like I don't keep them. I have like all my windows blacked out. Like there's no sun that goes in this room at all.
Yeah, it's
And it
not from
still
you.
happens.
It's from prior to getting them. That's
Yeah, in the
exactly what it
store or
is.
something. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I totally derailed DStreet. You were talking about Farah and Overwatch. We started talking about we were talking about Concord, that lovely smash hit. So that's where
I
we're at.
think it's probably like less than 100 people playing right now, at least on Steam. It's just been
Mhm.
going slowly down, further and further. Not
Yeah, I mean,
surprised.
and there's obviously people playing on PlayStation too, but I'm sure it's not much like thousands or anything crazy.
I don't think it's in the thousands at all.
It'll
The
bump
problem
up
with those
once it's free
games
to
is
play.
they need to release at a high number from day one because the entire basis of the game is playing multiplayer games. So if there isn't a play count, you're just sitting in a lobby for half an hour. Everyone who's trying to play is going to give up, and the play count will just die instantly.
I think it was a huge mistake not going free to play right off the bat. If your competitor is Overwatch 2 and
Absolutely.
it's free to play off
They
the
are
bat,
literally trying to.
it's an old business model they're trying to do in 2024. It's like they're trying to really. It's like if like they tried to come up with a new World of Warcraft and told everyone they had to pay $20 a month. No one would. Everyone would be like, no. Fuck that. That might have worked in 2008, right? That ain't gonna work now. I'm not giving you $20 a month for a fucking game. It's just not gonna happen.
Even if
really
they didn't even fill it up with microtransactions, because the norm is free now, you almost have to go down that second business model. And
Oh no, you do have to. No, you do have to, and that's the one time I don't care. I think I don't mind microtransactions in a free to play game. Like I gotta make money somehow.
I don't.
The other option is ads. Do you want ads? I don't want ads in between matches. You got to watch freaking Dunkin' Donuts commercials or something. I don't know.
That feels more like when we're talking mobile gaming, when there'll be like a free version and a paid version. The paid version just removes all the ads and things like that.
Yeah, it always removes the ads when you pay like $3-5 usually. That was like the norm for a lot of mobile games. Just the only like paid option they have was just that amount of money to get rid of the ads. That was it.
Yeah, the only problem I've ever had with microtransactions is if it affects gameplay. That's all. If it's all cosmetics and stuff, then who cares? But if it gives you like level boosts, money boosts, like if it gives you like a huge in-game advantage from spending cash, then I'm like, I don't like this game. Just because I'm not going to spend a bunch of cash and I just don't want to lose because someone spent a bunch of cash. Like that's just like that doesn't feel good. So that's not fun to me. Doesn't sound like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's just like when the whole prerogative isn't skill, it's like money. It's just like, what's the point? You know, there's thousands of games and thousands of options out there these days. Like, why are you being controlled by something that might have worked like 16 years ago? You know.
And that's the whole problem with Concord in general. Is it took them 8 years to make it. And so basically the whole idea is a decade old before it's like almost a decade old before they even started. So that's like you having a great idea in 1982, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then you try to roll out this product. Now it's 1990 and the culture's totally different. Everyone's like, I don't listen to fucking glam metal anymore, man. I listen to Nirvana, bitch. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it's not like it's
hair
like
metal
too
band
long.
Their album 1991.
Exactly. But in 82, they were like, hair metal was the best. And they were like, let's make the best hair metal band ever. And they released it 8 years later when that shit was dead. So that's like a huge issue.
And it could have been the best one ever, but just because of the timing.
Correct. So that is a huge problem. And then like DStreet said, the whole DEI stuff, that is true. Like the character designs are just goofy looking, dude.
And the pronouns, when you clearly see the pronouns in like the character select screen, it doesn't turn into like, you made this game to make a good game. You made this game because you wanted to send a message. Guess what?
I love pronouns. I think it's like a self-identifying thing to avoid people. It's like when you see people who are still wearing masks in public now, you're like, still? Like, you're fucking fucked. Whatever, dude. Like that's how I feel when I see pronouns. I'm just like, oh, nice to meet you. Bye.
I think the funniest way to look.
Good. Sorry.
The funniest way to look at Concord, because like it was in development for 8 years. 8 years ago, that is when Overwatch 1 released, and it was, let's say, like a month or two after Overwatch 1 released, and this tiny group of people that were super into it when it came out, let's do that for ourselves. And it turned into what it is today. And with Sony buying the studio, it is safe to say they are losing like $200 to $300 million on this game, possibly.
If we look at it like that, DStreet, and you look at it 8 years ago, Overwatch wasn't a free game 8 years ago.
It wasn't.
No,
they were
going
to copy exactly how Overwatch 1 was back then.
It was one of the highest selling games, and it was $60, and it was selling skins, and it had a battle pass, and there were talks
had
of
Game of the Year awards,
esports, and they were going to do this, and they eventually did, and it went to shit. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's interesting to see, like, maybe 8 years ago, like, it would have worked, but unfortunately, you had to release the game then, not start it. And that's your problem.
It is a huge problem. And let's just be real, though. Imagine if this game, like, was just fucking balls to the wall badass. Like, it was, like, you know, nothing but insanely great. Like let's say, like, From Software designed it all. And everyone was this fucking, you know, flying knights with missiles. And it was just, everything looked insanely intense. And then they marketed it, this, you know, with showing off how badass it was. The game would have been great, a huge hit. So, like, your art style and your marketing matters a lot. Like, these people think that it doesn't, and it really does. It really does. Like, I'm sorry, like, if I watch a trailer for a game and I'm immediately like, this is just made by goofy people, like, not serious people, like people who, I don't know, they're like not trying to, like, I don't know how to describe it, man, but like, if it ain't badass, what are you doing? Why wouldn't it be? I don't know. It's just so lame, dude. Like, I don't like this quirky, marvelly, Guardians of the Galaxy, goofy, cartoony, happy, fluffy, bright colors, looks like kitty Play-Doh. It's not freaking, it's not good. It's not good. But if it had been like, you know, like say, look like Warhammer or some shit, it would have sold way more.
You know what I think's funny about the whole situation is we, as a whole community, knew the game was going to fail before it even released. And at that point, like, why didn't release it?
She's in the chat during the live, the direct. We were like, I was watching it live, and everybody was just like, "Lol, this looks terrible. What is this? What
people
is
already memeing like this is clearly a photorealistic ripoff of Guardians of the Galaxy, and these characters look ugly." Like, not to be offended, but they just objectively look really ugly. And then when we saw in the same state of play, they showed the gameplay. This is gonna fail. instantly.
What was
You
what?
and I watched it, and I can't remember like what I predicted, but I think I said some of the lines where when it comes out, it's going to be less than 1,000 players and just slowly dies out.
Yeah,
And seeing how
100%
everyone was reacting to it, like I instantly knew the numbers were going to be like that.
Yeah. Well, just think, even if they kept the characters the same or whatever, if they had marketed it a little better, they might have sold a couple copies. But like the very first time they show the game, it's like three idiots sitting around eating in a diner having quirky, funny, awkward conversations. Like, I don't fucking want to see that. If the game is about blowing shit up, let's start with that. Let's lead with that. Let's just open with a bunch of gameplay. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like this, like little skit comedy thing they had. It was so cringy and boring. And it was just boring, dude. And you remember the whole time, it's like, what is this trash? And then you're hoping like they finally show gameplay and it's going to be something. And then it was just a team shooter and everyone laughed like, this is what it is. What the hell was that? What was this? What was that? Like the marketing was so bad, dude. Like that.
I've got two things wrong. Shooters are serious games.
Man.
Like the people that play shooters play them and take them very seriously. And,
Yeah.
you know, like someone like Shroud should be the person advertising your shooter game. Because, you know, he's a serious gamer and people watch him because he's got the high FPS skills and blah, blah, blah. Not like a comedy type, I don't know. It just didn't hit the box like a Borderlands type game. Or
Exactly.
Something.
That's exactly what it was trying to be. That goofy, like, ooh, I'm like, I don't know. I'm over that. I want serious games for sure.
It's like this game and Dustborn are the best examples of everything that is wrong with, at least on Concord's and PlayStation's current ecosystem, or what they want to push this generation to be, but also just the entertainment industry as a whole, not just in games, movies, etc., where developers or like creators are just shoving in their own personal political beliefs and trend chasing.
I don't even know if it's their own personal belief sometimes. I feel like they're just like think this is a good idea, or like they're pressured into it, and or
they
like
told
they get
that
money
this has to be in the game.
Yeah, they get they say they get loans for that type of shit. I don't know, like, or they hire a firm. Yeah, exactly. Like, I just like I feel like that's another thing. I'm like, I don't believe that these people believe this shit either. I think this is all like they're like that. You know, I know people throw the term grifter around a lot, but I think this is a grift. Like, I don't think any of these people believe any of this shit. They don't care about diversity, inclusion, equity. They're not nice people that are inclusive. They don't want anybody that's not like them around them at all. They always talk about how you can't be disrespectful to them, but they're the rudest people to everyone else. They have no respect for anyone else. And I don't know. It's an interesting time period though, because I think there's like a moment of awakening where they just like the games journalists and the people making these games in the industry themselves too have been such douchebags for the last 10 years to the customer base that like they've pissed off people now to the point where everyone's literally losing their jobs, and they're having this moment of like clarity, like, oh, maybe we are the assholes. Maybe we are, like, for the first time, like they're having that, at least I don't think they're accepting it, but they're at least thinking about that. And that's a huge step in the right direction. They're like, we've really screwed up. Like everyone, no one believes us at all. And that goes for all journalists across the board, though, by the way, just so you know. It's not just games journalists, by the way. Like all journalists and all media have like flushed their reputation and their, they're down the toilet to the point where no one believes them at all. Like, I don't want to get into too much, but like, yeah, people laugh if you try to, like, if you say watch that stuff. People are like, oh, okay.
Like, there's a term for it on Twitter, and I forget the name. It's not mainstream media. It's the something media that they use. And I laugh every time I read it because I think like my dad tell me, I've seen this on the news. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, sure.
It's like the wildest thing.
Well, what's funny is if you stop watching that stuff for a long time, and then you watch it again, you're like, the fuck? Like, if you like break away from it and you like use your brain for a while, it's like hard to go back to sleep. I don't know what else I'm trying to say. I don't know. I cut cable in 2015, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like talking to people who still watch the news or watch TV all the time. I'm like, dude, you're like an alien.
I've had it cut since like 2008, 2009.
Yeah,
Roundabout.
like DStreet, it's been almost 15 plus years at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
and
my news comes from mostly Twitter these days.
Yep.
And I like the fact that it's a free speech platform, and when people tell bullshit, like community notes will come out and call their bullshit out and different things like that. Even like ads, you see on ads on Twitter, and an ad will come up and it'll be for a game, and the ad will say this ad doesn't represent the game, and the same fucking ads on Instagram, and it doesn't have that note.
makes no sense, dude. I think the biggest tragedy about this whole situation, I'm not even here to laugh on the grave of that game. Like, I don't care if it
People are
succeeds
going
or
to
fails.
lose their jobs, and there are some people
Mhm.
at Firewalk that don't deserve it.
Of course,
the
that's what I
executives
mean.
deserve it, but they won't get their jobs lost. But
Like,
Of
literally
course.
everyone did a good job except like the art team and the fucking marketing team. Like, that's the way I look at
marketing
it.
team, we were
Oh, they
talking
must
about
have
that.
marketing. I mean, that they did
Social
terrible.
media
The art
team.
design. Yeah, well, social media managers and community
That's its
managers
own team these days, you
are
know.
really bad.
The programmers definitely did their job to make the game optimized, it seems, so that it just perfectly works. They're the ones that will definitely, get a job easily. But everyone else, try to like wipe your resume clean of working at Firewalk if you think you're going to be let go, because this is going to be a stain on the history. This is definitely going to be like possibly the biggest AAA game failure ever. It's beating like Evolve. What are some other ones? Suicide Squad.
We've had some bad ones,
Redfall.
We've had broken
Redfall
games
is really
that,
bad lately.
like Fallout 76's launch, Cyberpunk's launch. There were some bad ones.
Yeah, but they sold
were
copies
bad
though.
mechanically. They sold just for Concord. It just sold like just a few thousand, and player base just does not care, and the amount of money invested into it is definitely in the hundreds of millions. Hence why
You've been
combine
making me
that,
think of
this is probably the
Battleborn.
biggest
There's so
failure.
many of them.
So there's
Battleborn's probably the earliest one I can think of, honestly.
That was in terms of like this idea. Battleborn tried to copy them in 2017. Tried to copy Fortnite, and I think it was in my collection on the shelf as a $5 game, like 4 months after it came out. Like, servers are down. This doesn't work. It's already on the clearance. So I've already removed it from the collection.
There's physical copies of Concord, right, for PS5?
Yeah.
Definitely will keep an eye out maybe towards the end of the year, whenever.
I'll probably pick one up. Maybe they'll be like Fortnite, where like it goes free to play, and then nobody
It won't
bought
be
that
like
crap.
Fortnite.
No, it won't be like Fortnite.
Or just when
there won't
they
be
completely
games in the future
discontinue
that
it.
aren't broken, that don't work. They're digital codes that are going to be. It just won't happen anymore. Like,
Then I'll
people
go
aren't
to
gonna
like
want that
GameStop
shit.
and just buy up all their stock, and like if they're like sealed copies, I'll like, yes, this is like 50 or like $1 like per brand new PS4 PS5 case, and a coaster right there as well for the disc.
Yeah,
So
basically
Drake
all
will
it
gladly
is.
sit on that and will be atop on a terrible mark in the industry.
So
When we're talking about new games, do you guys like to? Did you guys watch the Nintendo Direct? that was
Yeah.
this week?
Before you go off the topic though, I wanted to talk about. Did you guys hear they're raising the price of the PS5 in Japan?
Yeah, it was like $90 for like equivalent to us, if I recall.
Yeah, and I just wanted to put an end cap on that because a lot of people are speculating that's because Concord was such a failure. So they're saying, "Oh, Concord lost so much money, that's why they did
I
it."
don't think.
And I don't think
anything to do
that's
with that.
correct.
No,
Because
it has nothing to do with that.
no, because if that was the case, I feel like it would have happened all over the world. I wouldn't have done it specifically just in Japan. And also, like the Japanese like currency is like having a huge problem right now in general. Like it's like down incredibly. Like do you remember when the stock market crashed a couple weeks ago pretty badly.
Yeah, and like,
yeah,
we
I
can
heard
fully
that.
get into it, but it's got to do with like Japan have had low interest rates for years, so all these other
Correct.
countries have been borrowing money from Japan.
Well, I don't want to
and
get
then
into all
suddenly
that.
shit hit the fan.
Yeah. And they had to sell off their shit, and the currency is down. And I think that's why they raised it, because I think that their currency is worth less, and they would be selling at a loss now, so they increase the cost to offset the thing. I'm guessing. I'm not an economist. I'm an asshole. So, yeah, there we go. But I just wanted to bring that up because I saw a lot of people saying that. I don't think that's true.
It's not true at all.
But yes, Figsy, I did watch the Nintendo Direct, and I liked it quite a bit. Actually, I thought it was really fun.
I was at work at the time, so
I didn't like it, Joe. I want to say my reasons. Now, there were some positives. We got some really cool games. My initial reason is why I don't like it is I watch these things to see new games.
Mm-hmm.
The only cool things that we see are old games getting remastered, put into new systems, put into collections. We don't see any fucking new games that are cool, and that's why I didn't like it. We're getting some really cool. We're getting, Trails of Cold Steel, Legends of which one?
Trails
we're
in
getting
the
a cool one of those.
Trails in the
We're
Sky.
getting cool Capcom collections. Like, we're getting some cool shit. But I didn't see any new games. And I wanted new games.
No
It's
Silk
just-
Song still.
the new games that we did see were crap. Like, the first half an hour of the show, I'm sorry, I know it was indie games, but like,
Well, I thought I thought all the indie games were like pretty meh, but I thought the pizza one looked cool. Pizza Tower.
Yeah, Pizza Tower.
That
If
one
I
looked freaking
remember,
sick.
that's supposed to be like a successor, at least gameplay wise, for Wario Land. If I remember, I think that's the same game. I remember looking like a while back. Is there any platform out there that is just like Wario Land? And I think Pizza Tower is the one that is meant to be the successor to it.
I could see that because he does do the charge thing where you run through people, like knock them out of the way. So
Basically,
I
think
it
what
looks
makes
like a
Wario-
super hardcore platformer, like runner, like speed runner. It looked really intense to me. Like I don't know, it caught my attention. I thought it looked
not like
lot
a
of fun.
Sonic game, but it just seems like the character you can interact with stuff that changes up the play style of the level for you, which is basically like what a Wario Land game is, because you get attacked by certain enemies and he like floats in the air or just charges because his ass is on fire, and looks like that's what Pete's Tower's going for. Looking forward to playing that someday.
Yeah, it looked fun for an indie game. It was clearly the highlight of that. As
Was
far as
there
the
any
announcements,
Nintendo the games announced at all? I didn't watch it, and I barely know anything that was announced in there.
I don't think there was any new first party Nintendo games that I can think of.
not that was new. Anything that was announced was just, some old games on old systems getting ported to new systems, which is cool, but I don't see why you have to put that in a show. Why don't you just make a Twitter announcement about that type of stuff,
Just regular YouTube uploads on your own channel. You'll still get enough views for people to recognize it.
If we go back 10 years ago, these shows used to just be AAA games. And there used to be only a few a year, and they used to be worth watching. Like E3 would have
they
these
have like
events
one or two big events a year, like you said.
Yeah.
They were
now
badass.
it's every 2 months. Here's the next bunch
2
of
or
games
3
we're putting
months,
out.
yeah.
I mean, I probably had
Here's
big
the new
expectations
Nintendo
watching
Direct.
it, but
It's all
I
like
expected to see
$2.99.
one Mario or Pokemon or Zelda or something AAA or AA,
Yeah, I no longer have expectations for these shows. Plus, I really have gotten the games that I would have dreamed of having back when I was younger. That would be like FF7 Remake Saga, the Resident Evil remakes, I guess Silent Hill 2 remake. That has been looking a little bit better, but still very cautious on it. So I don't have anything I'm dying to see at this moment. So I have like zero expectations for all of these live streams for directs and state of plays.
I don't get excited when I own a game and I see it's getting ported to a new system. It's like when a PS3 game gets ported to the Switch. I'm like, so? What different experience are you really going to get playing on a PS3 to a Nintendo Switch? It's going to be very minor, if that. They need Lollipop Chainsaw, for example. Like, a limited run are doing. I can't get excited behind that because it's been out on PS3 for 12 years. Like,
Mm.
I don't want to spend retail full price because I don't. Obviously it's not going to be any cheaper on a game that I own multiple copies in the collection of. I don't understand the point.
It's basically like a director's cut version of it where they just add in a bunch of like weapons or costumes, right? Presentation and graphics wise, they didn't seem to change much with it for what we've seen so far.
Yeah, those at least they weren't like super expensive at least though. Like they were really reasonably priced. Like I got Shadows of the Dam too. I think it was like $25.
It's $25 on limited
Yeah,
runs. Like
that's
what?
killer.
That's the
Yeah.
cheapest game, like physical game I've seen them ever put up on that list, and I thought it'd be $50.
Great game. I love that
It's an
game.
That's
awesome
cool because it's
game.
an expensive PS3 game. So if you don't own it, suddenly there's a cheaper way to buy it. Like,
And if you know
like
the people that
that's
made
really
it,
cool.
it's really cool. Of all the development staff behind it. Let's see, Suda51 made it, and I think Shinji Mikami was also a developer for it as well. So those are two well-known developers that made that game, and I think it's probably Suda's best game he's ever made, personally, for what I've played so far.
I thought it was so much fun, dude, and hilarious and just insane. Like that game was fucking crazy, dude. Some of the stuff that happened, I was
Game
like,
that
what
really
is
deserves to
happening?
get ported to current platforms for sure.
It was fun.
Yeah, people who didn't play it to experience it for the first time.
I'd never
My
heard
question
of it
to you
until
guys
recently.
is if you guys do have games, are you looking at like buying it again, double dipping? Or do you look at like, if you've got the game on PS2 and you like your PS2 version and blah blah blah, you're looking at buying it again, etc.
It depends on the game, really. If it's one that I adore a lot, then that's when I would double dip potentially. Or if like the new version, if there is enough improvements in it where it is just objectively in every way just the best version of it, then that's when I would get that.
Yeah, I mean, I it's all about price for me, man. So like, if like I'll give you a perfect example is like Onimusha 1. Like I'm on PS2, and there's nothing wrong with that game. And it came out on PS4, and it was like mildly, I don't even know if they didn't add anything to it. It's like, maybe HD patched or something. And but it was like on sale for like $15-20, and I was like, hell yeah, I want it for that price. Like it's all about price for me. Like because now it's convenience. But I also have OCD, so it's like irritates me that they don't have 2-3 Dawn, whatever this Dawn or whatever the hell that one's called, the last one there. So I'm like, I'm not selling my PS2 ones either way. Like I am keeping them all together. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I mean, if you have like all of them, they're lined up on the shelf. They look really nice. It's almost like they knew in the future, like, hey, we're gonna make the spines look like this for our next 2 or 3 games. And all the developers did that.
I mean, I feel like for me, it comes down to the age of the systems. Like, I'm obviously a PS3 fan, but for me, the PS3 game is still a modern game. Blu-ray still looks great. Like, if it's a PS1 game, I'm rebuying it. If it's a game like Demon Souls where they like completely revamp the game, I'll rebuy it. But like, if it's a game on PS3 that's getting redone, and I've obviously own it because I get every PS3 game, I don't see the point in rebuying it. Like, Trails of Cold Steel, Legends of Heroes 1 and 2, I have both on PS3. There's no difference to the PS4 version.
There really isn't. Version. It's just quality of life features is all they put in the PS4 version.
And they're expensive games, Sorry, Joe.
No, it's all good. I do like buying the collections though, like Mario said, like the Mega Man collections, stuff like that. Well, Mega Man Legends. I like collections for sure. I like when
collections are awesome. Collection packs are great. Yeah.
Speaking of, back to the Direct, the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is fucking insane. I
saw they put Power Stone in there.
Yeah, dude. So of all the things in the Direct that made me say, holy shit, that was the one that made me say,
that's Marvel vs. Capcom 2, right?
Capcom versus SNK, I think, is in that one.
I thought I seen it pop up on the screen during the thing.
I'd have to even look at. Well, let me check a look. See,
I mean, if Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is in there, well, so many people will be happy. Just that is in there and is reason enough for them to buy it potentially. Probably the same for Power Stone, but I've never played Power Stone, nor have I heard of it till like a few years ago. Is that basically like a Smash Bros type game. I never seen it before. So.
It's an arena. It's an arena fighter. So it's like you're in like a 3D space, and you run around beating the shit out of people, and then there's all sorts of power ups and stuff that you can pick up. It's so fun, dude. It's
I know
really
like
great
the games were Dreamcast games originally.
Yeah, so it's yeah, let me just share my screen. How about that? I can do that. Okay, we got fighting collection. All right. So
We're
we
in a game
got
shop.
what's that?
We're in a game shop.
Hell yeah, we're in GameStop. That's what we'll get to that too. There's so much news, Figsy, bro. This could be like a 10-hour show. There's so much shit to talk about. Anyway, Capcom versus SNK. I'm glad my brain still works. It's like I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Part 2, Fighting Evolution, which is like that was like a budget PS2 game. I've never played that. Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, one of the 33,000 versions of Street Fighter Alpha. Power Stone 1 and 2, which is fucking amazing, and then Project Justice and Plasma Sword, which I don't know these games, but I've heard they're great. But dude, if you look at the dollar value of how much all of these games cost, if you wanted to buy them, it's insane, dude. How much all this shit would be. This would be like over $1,000 probably, I'm guessing, to get all these, depending on what system you pick out. So it just blows me away that that's going to all be on one collection, and it's going to have the rollback net code, whatever the hell they call it, and it's all going to have online services.
That's a requirement these days for fighting games.
Awesome.
Rollback.
That game alone is going to make me buy a PSN a year worth of online again just to play that. Seriously, 100%. I'll get that just to play Power Stone with people. So everybody,
I did see
the
Castlevania Advanced Collection, or the Game Boy collection that we're getting. DS games. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I just see the limited run and doing cover variants again.
With a redone version of Haunted Castle, the arcade Castlevania game that is really rough to play.
Yeah, that game's so hard, dude.
No, I don't have them on the DS, so I'm excited to add that to the collection. You know, if I did have them, I probably wouldn't rebuy it. That's sort of the way I'm seeing collecting now. And you know, like, I don't want to own 10 copies of one game. I'd rather own 10 games.
And I'm sure most of those Castlevania games in that DS collection, they're like close to like $100 at this point. I know Order of Elsius, I think that's how you say it.
Ecclesiastes.
It's a weird name. I think that was the last Castlevania game we got that was like Metroidvania style back then, but that one is close to like $100. I used to have a copy of it, but it was missing the manual, and I sold it off, unfortunately. But I got it for like $20 at a local store back then, when the price was like $70 or $80 at the time.
Nice.
So my big what the fuck with that collection is, if you notice, there's no PS4 version, and that makes me sad in my pants. So they have the Switch,
Switch, Xbox
PS5,
One,
and Xbox.
You're right. I did look at that, and I'm like, which version do I get? The PS5 or the Switch?
Yeah, Xbox
I don't really collect
doesn't have the other
PS5
ones either.
So I'm having the same trouble, Figsy. I'm like, I don't know. Should I get these on the Switch? Because I have this shit. So I asked on, Twitter or whatever, if they were going to do it, and they didn't respond. But somebody did point out that as of right now, there's no PS4 digital version.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. So that's why there's like no PS4 version, and I just feel like there's not going to be, unless this comes to retail later, which it totally could. I mean, this is like a huge popular game. I mean, it could possibly come to retail. I don't know, but maybe down the line it gets a PS4, but it's looking kind of unlikely. And I have like every Castlevania game on PS4, bro.
I know,
like,
me too. Not the variants, but
I have so many, and it's just such a sad thing. Because then it's like, now I have to split them up. It's like I'm gonna have the Castlevania.
You got a full PS4,
and then what? I'm gonna have a couple Castlevanias over here. Now what the fuck? You don't understand what this does to my brain. You guys don't, and just like you guys do probably, but like that type of shit keeps me up at night. So like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. I think maybe I'll just get the Switch one, because
there was the one game I actually double dipped on. I have all the Switch versions of the Castlevania games except the Advanced Collection, so I might like. I don't know. I don't think I'll double dip on that.
Personally, I only care about the PlayStation versions. If I get them on the Switch, it's just going to be digitally, honestly. very selective with what I pick up physically on the Switch, and Castlevania is not one of them, sadly. But as long as I have PlayStation versions of Castlevania games, that's all I care personally.
Mario says, I think it will come out on PS4 holidays to get people to buy it twice because Capcom. That's cool. Yeah, probably. I also heard Capcom censoring boobies again in the new fighting compilation or something. You know, because a fighting game that came out 30 years ago that a bunch of old men are going to want to play can't look at boobs. It's just like this is the game literally the target audience is for 35 to 45-year-olds, and they're like, now gentlemen, no titties. It's like, what, dude? This isn't a Teletubbies game. Who are you marketing to? What are you doing?
It's coming out on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, but at the same time,
there are some crazy games on the Switch, actually.
If Concord came out and they were like they just had like giant dicks on their foreheads, they'd be like, that's the most beautiful thing we've ever seen. Great job. That's just amazing. We're rocketing into the future. But you guys can't look at boobs. Turn that boob jiggle down and make her butt smaller. It's like, what? And I feel so awkward being like arguing against it. Because it's like, I'm not like, oh man, I need to have big titties in my games. It's not really important to me. But it's just such a weird thing to censor. I'll never understand it. How like you can buy games where you could rip people's spines out and smash them, like the most violent, crazy shit you've ever seen. They're like, yeah, that's cool. Oh, dude, cover her up a little. It's like, what the fuck? It's so, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Call me crazy.
What else was announced at the Direct?
So the other one for me, that was there was tons more. I don't remember all of them, but I was super excited about the Trails remake. I was really excited about that.
Same. I'm really excited.
Are we getting all the PSP games, or are we just getting the one at this point?
They just remade the one, as far as I know.
Technically, this is the third time Trails in the Sky, or really second time, it's getting a remake. Because did you know that Trails in the Sky, second chapter, and the final one, they do have, they're essentially like remakes on the Vita in Japan only. Did you know that?
We didn't get the we got Trails on the PSP. So the first, it started off with Legend of Heroes. Isn't that the actual first part of that?
First we had
Legend of Heroes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, just Legend of Heroes on the PSP, and then we got Trails in the Sky on the PSP.
Only the first one in the West, I thought, right?
We did get the second chapter, the second game, but it was digital only for the PSP for us. And Japan, I believe they did get they did, because I have the Japan physicals myself. They got the second and third game physically. We never got the third game at all. And then Vita came out. They did across a remaster of updated graphics of both three games, and they did get physical releases. There is fan translations for both three games, so you can play them on modded Vitas, thankfully, which I definitely want to play them that way before the remake of the first game, whenever that comes out next year.
Speed Killer said The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. The third is only on PC in the West, which is interesting.
Well, let's hope. I mean, they're a lot more popular than they were when they first came out. So let's hope with that that they will get a physical release down the line.
I'm hyped for it. I mean, dude, I feel like we're getting a Trails game every 4 hours. We'll definitely get them. You kidding me? Literally, I got Trails Through Daybreak arrived in the mail, and fucking Trails Through Daybreak 2 went up for pre-order the same fucking day. I'm serious. I got Trails in the mail, Trails Through Daybreak, and the same day I looked and it was pre-order Trails 2. I'm like,
I know, right?
Jeez, man, give me a minute.
They're all quality JRPGs, though.
I know.
Thankfully,
they're turning into the Atelier series. I'm like, oh yeah, I've almost got all of those. I've got 10 of them. Still missing one or two.
This is going to be another one of those situations though where I have them all on PS4, and they'll come out with the Trails. This first one they'll do PS4, but then the two that come out after won't be, and I'll be like,
it'll be just PS5, Xbox One, and Switch.
And then I'm like, what do I do now? Do I keep the 2 over here and the 1 over here? Do I bring one blue motherfucker and put them in with the white ones? Do I put the? I don't know. Maybe that's the ultimate thing. Maybe someday I'll just commingle my PS5 and PS4
Yeah,
collection
Joe.
together.
Yeah, who are you?
I don't know. I'm saying this is what do we do? What do we do? I don't know. It's none of it works. None of it works.
Is what it is. You just gotta collect what's out there.
Dude, I told you that I had games that I couldn't decide whether I wanted to put them in my horror collection or my VR collection. So I bought 2 copies just so I'd have one in each spot. Dude, I've done that. I'm crazy, okay? You guys
I've certainly done that as well. There was a point where I was when I first started collecting and I wanted a big collection. So every time I got a slipcover or a collector's edition, I would pull the game out and put it on the shelf and also have the collector's edition there. And then if I found the game again, I would just put it back in the collector's edition and leave one on the shelf and then have 2 versions. And then fast forward 10 years, I'm going through my collection. I'm like, why have I got 2 of these? Why have I got 2 of these? Why are there 2 of these? Oh, there's 3 of these ones.
See, I'm starting to do that myself, where if it is a collector's edition, a big box that just doesn't fit on the shelf, just take the game out, put that on the shelf, and then the rest of the contents just goes into a box or a storage bin. And what I've been doing with the Shantae PS5 games, I ordered both a standard and the collector's editions of them. I do open up one of the copies and I open up the collector's edition, but I keep one of the games sealed, put that in the collector's edition, and then stored them away in the whatever storage bin. So yeah, I can unrelate. Been doing that lately.
That's what I love these stories. They make me feel so normal. Thank you.
Or I have gotten to a point now where I had to put entire collections in cardboard boxes recently because I have run out of shelf space lately. So far,
oh, that's time to sell, buddy. What do you got?
Yeah, see, I make a real DStreet. If it's not on display, it's on eBay.
It's all stuff that I want to keep, though, sadly. So the collections that are put away right now is PS1. My
oh, you gotta get rid of that. You gotta get rid of that PS1.
No.
You gotta get rid of that. That's just taking up space.
The PSP
Collecting
collection,
dust.
all of the cases for my Switch games, Vita games, and Wii games, GameCube games. Basically stuff where if I have made backups of them on my PC and I put them on SD cards and I play them on my modded systems, all that stuff is in the storage, and the stuff that is on my shelves is stuff I need the discs in order to play them. So PS5, PS4, PS2 is here, but I love looking at the spines of PS2 games. Xbox stuff is here, and cartridge-based stuff is here. In fact, for all of my handheld games, every single one is in a Walmart bag right now in the basement, and pretty soon I will be ordering on Amazon probably a lot of these big cases where you can just fit all the games in there. Same for the Switch as well too, so that way I can have that readily around here, so they're not just sitting in a Walmart bag in the basement, because that bag's probably $5,000 alone in there right now. Of
hurts me. I feel
it's in a storage bin, so they're completely protected.
It's just being able to walk around the room and looking at things, and I'll just spend an hour some night just walking around, looking at my collection, pulling out certain games, looking at them. I love doing that. I do it all the time. And if they were all storage or double stacked, it just drive me crazy, because then you don't see certain games.
Just the day when I get my own place, and that's when everything will be up for display again. I'm sharing this place with families, so I have to let them have their own space. So fair share at the end of the day.
One day.
One
day you'll be putting every cartridge back in its case and putting it on the wall.
I know, right?
So you guys ready for a little news lightning round? Because we have too many fucking topics, but I do want to go over these real quick. We're almost halfway through the show. Okay, so first, we'll go over some fast ones. So the first thing I wanted to mention is, again, Limited Run Games is having a blowout sale this weekend, starting tomorrow, Saturday. Well, it's not tomorrow. 2 days from now, Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you click on the link or if you go to their website, you can preview everything they're going to have for sale. But they got a lot of stuff for sale. So if you're interested in anything, I would get it. And this shit sells out real fast. So it's 10 a.m. Eastern.
Again. I wonder if they're going to allow shipping to Australia or any country that isn't the US this time.
We will see. I mean, that's
if it's not like a pre-order, I don't even think I'll bother anymore. Just going through the hassle of like trying to buy something and being told that no, you can't buy this. You don't live in America.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking horseshit. So the next thing I wanted to go over, which, oh man, we have good news from
great.
First Press Games.
Oh wow.
The shipping of our collector's editions has started, guys. We have decided to split it up due to the large amount of versions. Yeah, that's why. It's probably because they could only make these 8. Our blog has been updated, and subscribers to our newsletter got one too. More updates to come very soon. So supposedly, I think this is their Famicom games is the first batch that they're doing. And they're supposed to be sending these out soon, guys. So if you ordered this, I don't know, like 6 years ago, 5, whatever the fuck years ago, I just thought I'd give you a heads up that supposedly they're in stock. And they're supposed to ship them soon. And they did say something about on their blog or whatever that like people who did pre-order them are going to get like an extra special fucking bonus cookie or whatever the hell. Some super secret special surprise or something. Now, does that mean I think everyone should go out and start ordering these? No. I don't think that at all. I would just make sure that fucking you wait till they actually start shipping. But in theory, they're supposed to start shipping in the next like month or so. So I thought that was exciting. And hopefully they do start shipping them. Hopefully they start making all the ones for the Switch and the PS4. And hopefully they actually start shipping games again. That would make me happy.
Never once ordered anything from them, and honestly, the only thing I care currently to buy from them would just be Chained Echoes. But I'll wait out until those are actually out in the wild for me to buy it. Ain't pre-ordering anything from them ever.
I wouldn't pre-order anything from them ever at all. So I want Chained Echoes as well, and then I ordered a shmup from them, like 1,000. It's called Neko Navy, which I know you're like a flying cat, some shit. It ain't like some game I'm dying to play or whatever, but it's just one of those like
shmups are not like that for me at all. It's like the shmups to me is the one genre of game that I see like the older titles.
Mm-hmm.
Why on God's gray earth are these games like $500+? These are not like RPGs or horror games where I'll be thinking about these games like years to come. They don't vary enough in gameplay for me compared to other genres. No shmup is ever the same. I'm fully aware of that. So therefore, shmups, personally, if I'm able to buy it, say like modern platforms, it's digitally. I don't care about buying physical modern shmup games. That's just me. I don't want to spend more than like $10 or $20 for a shmup. That's just me at the end of the day. I really like the games, but it's not on my must-play list compared to lots of other games.
I feel like if you're gonna like really be into shmups, you have to kind of in a way be like sort of a masochist. Like you honestly have to enjoy suffering. Because the joy of a shmup is so the whole point of playing shmups is trying to get the one credit clear, trying to beat the whole game on one continue. And they're almost always really hard, no matter what. And none of them like very rarely, if it's a good shmup, like you're not going to beat it the first week you try at least. And like the real hard ones, you could practice for fucking God, dude. There's some that I've been playing for years and I haven't beat them. And I don't think I'm going to. I just don't think it's going to happen. Like maybe, but that's the thing. Like It's all about that dopamine, that rush you get when you do actually win. So it's very similar to like Dark Souls or something like that. Like if you don't enjoy like an agonizing, challenging experience, then they're probably not going to be for you. But if you're like into that, if you're like into discipline and getting better and the practice of it, then it's a fun. It's very similar to rhythm games. Like rhythm games,
I could see that.
you start out and they're kind of fun, but whatever. But they're not really fun until you put them on like the super expert mode and you're trying to get like a perfect score. Once you like really try to like bring it to that level, that the game becomes like so stimulating. And that's the thing. Like a lot of games, like there's like at moments of action, moments of downtime, story cutscenes, doing this, doing that, fights, not fights, shops, whatever. There's also shmups. They're just like pure crack adrenaline. That's what I like about them. They're just like, go, fuck, oh my god, the whole time you're just like on the edge of your seat, like, holy shit, that's too many bullets. Like
Music is pretty
so
awesome in these games too.
Yeah, and it takes my brain and it pushes it to the capacity for focus. I have to just be like, my girlfriend, she calls me, she's like, I hate when you play those games because like you don't even hear me when I'm talking, and I don't. I'm just like, and if she does, I'm like, go away. Like this is the best I've ever done. Shut up. Just like I can.
And just saying shut up might lose your concentration because you had to say that and figure out something else.
The last time I had to be like that, just be like in pure focus mode.
If someone just distracts me and I look over there, you could die and be like, oh, you just ruined the run.
Right, exactly.
My dog loves to kill me.
I had that moment where I'm just hyper focused on the game was with Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, when I first fought Sir Alone. I think that's how you would say his name. He was a super secret boss in the DLC, and he is like a boss that belongs in like Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne. So he is really fast.
Yeah.
And I had to actually turn off the music, put on headphones, and just be so focused and listen for those cues. And man, it was such a good fight when I finally fought him. I think it was like the 6th attempt I got him. But man, I loved that fight. It was way too good. That
DStreet, that was one of the few bosses that after I beat the boss, I let out a scream of like just like all the frustration from like the last 20 attempts of failing, all just let out right there.
That's the greatest feeling, though. You feel like, I don't know, a winner, son. Are you winning, son? That's how you feel.
And I love the sound effects of his attacks too, because I get my body in the rhythm with the sounds that he makes too, because it just helps me with my inputs too. God, that fight was so good.
I get that adrenaline feeling of focus every day I'm playing GeoGuessr in the ranked mode. If you want to see it, I'm streaming it on Twitch. My reactions are genuine. I get up screaming after I get a guess within like 5 kilometers in like a random Russian town in the middle of nowhere and things like that. It happened like 2 days ago. I was pretty proud of it.
Back in the day,
it's the same feeling.
I got
hyper focus. It's really cool. It's like, like your brain's working fucking overtime right now, trying to think of like all these things that you've learned, and there's clocks going and a timer, and
I got one more. What makes it cooler, real quick, that for like DS2 played it so much like any other Souls game, but I never fought that boss fight until recently for the first time, and it's, as I always play through the game, I'm like really relaxed as I know how to easily handle these games at this point. But when I got to, it's like, oh my god, it's time to like sit upright, lock the chair, and serious mode for once playing that game after how many hours.
I felt the entire DLC was like that. Like there was a chill, casual game, but the DLC areas are like next level. The one with the gank boss, how it's 3 of them. Like, oh my god! Every time I have to like restart a playthrough, I'm like, oh god, I have to do this boss again. It's like, how do you cheese this? I've beaten that once. I'm not doing that again. Look up a YouTube guide. What's the easiest way to do this fucking fight? Joe, you're muted right now. Oh, I still can't hear you.
How about now? Motherfucking
Yeah, I
stupid
got
piece
you.
of shit.
It works now.
All right. Anyway, I don't know if you guys saw this.
I did.
So this was exciting. The limitedRares.com, limited rare games, everybody's favorite. They have a new game coming out called Red. Well, you say it, Redillum. I don't know. So I think this.
Radulum.
I'm not even sure what's going on with these cover variants. I think this is going to be like the standard release. Like, you know how they have like multiple covers. I think this will be like the regular one. But then this is freaking cool. They partnered with Wada Games.
Which is
And
awesome.
it is really awesome. And so they're randomly going to be sending out graded copies. And because they're limited run and they're funny, what they've done is they have, so first of all, these are like a different cover. If you've noticed, these are like special covers. So I think the only way you're going to be able to get this cover at all is if you get one of these.
And they're all numbered by 1 to 36 or something.
1 to 48. So if you look here up at the top, it says exercised limited rare games copy 8 out of 48. So there's 48 of these that are going to go out. And then is the picture right here? Yeah. And then they have cursed limited rare copies. There's only 12 of these, and these have a grade of 1.0, and they're all fucked up.
I see another one that is 0.5, which is crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to be more valuable. These are technically rarer. This is going to be the rarest version. Is the shitty cursed version. So I think they're really trying to like push the limits of FOMO madness with this to a level that's never been. And I can't tell you, I am so here for it. That the melted copy looks like it got run over version is probably going to be the most valuable one.
Now, Joe, they sat around an office just and went, I can't believe our games are selling for this price. And you know what one of the guys said? I bet we can get them to like buy a broken game that like looks like shit, like a 101 or and they're like, yeah, we can get them to spend thousands on that. Let's do it.
But it's kind of fitting as a horror game, honestly.
It is. Well, they have, if you should read the post, they have this whole story about this guy discovered this thing and it was in a warehouse and it was cursed, and then the magic and the voodoo. It's like a bunch of horse shit, but they have a whole like lore behind these things of how they ended up like this. All I know is it's amazing. Mario, what do you mean? You're not gonna open it. You're gonna keep it sealed.
Well, no. Mario brings up a good point because people don't actually know what this game is. Like you can't play this game right now. Like the only way to buy it will be buying this version. So it's probably a terrible game that they paid someone to code for them in 5 minutes that mightn't even work.
I have no idea what it looks like, the graphics or anything. I have no clue.
So when does that come out?
So they said by Monday probably, because they're assholes. I love them so much.
I just keep following their Twitter and usually they don't sell out right away. It's usually a few hours. So.
Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be tonight, could be Monday, could be next Monday, could be 3 Mondays from now. All they say is whatever.
It could be Monday on the 30th of August 2025.
Could be Monday in the United States, Monday in England, Monday in Japan. Fucking knows, bro.
They'll be like, we use the Mayan calendar, guys. Didn't you know that?
I don't know. It's just, it's going to be, that's just great. So, and the other thing about that too, which I noticed, which I did want to point out, which I thought was pretty interesting too, is they said that this is their last PS4 release. This will be the last one.
The last game. They'll just be doing PS5 games in the future, which that's
I would think so. Correct. But still, if you are a PS4 collector, the end is in sight, guys. The light at the end of the tunnel is happening. We're not getting the Castlevania. We're not getting any more limited. Like it's gonna eventually. When the Pro comes out, then maybe that'll be it. No more PS4 games. Maybe they'll just all be PS5, which bums me out, but it is what it is. Moving on. The PS5 Pro leaked, supposedly, or whatever. I don't know if this is true or whatever, but these are the designs for the Pro. And so far, what they have leaked, quote unquote, which I don't know if it's actually true, is it doesn't have a disk drive built in. So this is either a digital only PS5 Pro, or they're going to do 2 versions like they originally did. But everyone's speculating it's going to be another detachable disk drive situation.
Have you seen the price of that detachable disk drive?
$80.
$80, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I seen it in Europe. It was like €100 or something, which is crazy.
And it'll probably go up. Who even know? So a lot of people are speculating that the base model is going to be around $600, and then with the hard drive, you're looking at least another $80 plus shipping. So this could be over $700 to get the PS5 Pro. And don't forget, they'll probably charge you $30 for a cool little stand to put it on, huh? Yeah, so it could stand up. Maybe they could do that. Oh, you know, it'd be cool too. Maybe we could charge like $25 for the power cable and not include that. That would be cool. Maybe they could do that too. Fucking assholes.
A genuine question, like why should we upgrade at this point? Like right now, I don't feel like I'm playing any games that are struggling on my PS5 or anything
Not at
like
all.
that.
Not even
Performance
close.
modes just keep it at 60 FPS, and that is the bare minimum I ask for personally at playing on consoles.
Okay, that's one thing. A few games where you have to pick between performance or frames. Hopefully, the system does both, right? Is that the expectation? That we're not going to have to like substitute frames for performance and vice versa.
I mean, I've heard that has a lot to do with the developers, how they design their game too. I mean, some games like won't run at 60 FPS no matter what, because the developer is just going to, you know, focus too much on the graphic end of things and make it too ridiculous. But who knows? I mean, it's really going to come down to how well does GTA 6 play on the old PS5.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
If that plays fine on the old PS5, then who the fuck wants this thing?
Slims will sell way more still.
Yeah. I just don't see that's just really expensive. And I doubt it's, then it's not they're not going to introduce like more backwards compatibility or anything like that. It'll be the same as the other one. And it'll have less future proofing on it. So I know people don't care about the internet connection with the hard drive issue, but if you want to like sell your console to somebody down the road and the servers aren't up anymore, like in 40 years or whatever, like, are you even going to be able to freaking register your disk drive again? Like, I don't know how that's going to work. So it's not a real issue that's going to like stop.
I feel like there'll be a workaround at that point. Like you'll have a USB you plug in.
Modders probably will find a way.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll be dead by the time that's a problem. So I'm not really that worried about that, but that is a thing that people are concerned about. So, but yeah, I just thought I'd point that out that, really expensive. Now this pissed me off because when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is what I actually fucking want. I want a black one, first of all, not a white one. I don't want a white console.
And now looking at the photos, the leak one looks real. That one doesn't look real.
No, of course it doesn't, because this looks cool and good. Sony wouldn't make something cool and good. They'd make this piece of shit. Although this one has that fucking stand. Stupid thing.
It would be really interesting if, let's say, GTA 5 doesn't really run well on the PS5, which I don't see happening. I assume they'll make it to work on the PS5, the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X, whatever. But let's assume that it doesn't. Sony are going to have a very, very, very demand and supply problem for a few years if that's the case.
There's a massive chunk of people that's still holding on to their PS4s or Xbones, and they're just waiting for GTA 6 to drop, and that is when they buy the current systems. There's definitely
it'll be the same for PC
like
market. Like there'll be a certain graphics card that won't be able to play it. The next graphics card up will be able to play it, and there'll be a massive price disparity between the two, just because of how big this game's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So my plan is actually, I can't wait for this thing to come out because I'm hoping a lot of people will upgrade and sell their original disk drive system. They'll be like, I don't want this anymore. Why would I need 2 of these? I'm going to buy a bunch of them, dude. The original PS5 with the disk system built into it. I'm going to get I'm going to seriously try to get like 5 or 6 of them fuckers.
because I have like all the colored plates, first of all, and I think it would be super cool to like set them all up with all the different colors. And I got all the color controllers. Come on, man, you wouldn't? How cool would that be if I had them?
You can get them for like $150 a pop. Yeah,
That's what I'm
be
saying.
cool.
I'm gonna $200 tops. I'm gonna lowball them. Marketplace. You want the cash? You want that cash, son? I'll do it.
Well, Joe, I've got the same goal, but for PS4s, and I'm trying to get PS4s for $50 each because I've got 10 empty PS4 boxes that I bought when I was working at the pawn shop for like $5 a pop, with the intentions of buying consoles later down the line, and then either flipping or just having complete consoles. Like, they get the serial numbers that match up, but I personally don't care about that.
I don't care about that.
People. There are people that do, but selling things online, I think I've had one person ever like care about the serial numbers and things like that. So
yeah, and then you better ask before you you better say something. But yeah, that's my plan for those. All right, we got one more big news topic before we do pickups. Did you guys notice we're in a game store?
Did
you notice what kind of game store we're in?
It looks like EV Games.
Yeah, GameStop.
A prison one, basically.
So the big news in the game sphere and on Twitter and everywhere is that GameStop has officially announced they are back in the retro business, and they are selling retro games again. And what they've done is they have designated certain stores as retro stores. And what that means is they're either going to be an actual full-on retro store where it's all retro stuff, which I haven't seen that yet, or they're going to have a small like retro section in their store, like a little like section of shelves with retro stuff on it.
Yeah, can I cut you off for a second? Didn't GameStop do this a few years ago? Like
they tested it.
They did it a while ago, but it only stuck around for like a year and a half, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they tested it and stopped it, but they're doing it for real now, and now they're rolling it up for real. And they call it, they have like a whole marketing campaign, like GameStop Retro, and yeah, and also even if they're not like a retro theme store, you can sell your games to them. So you could go to any GameStop to sell retro games.
No, that's the problem. Instantly, I that's the problem. So the biggest problem with this is if you're going to do that, the stores that become retro stores, you have to hire people that know what you're doing. Because if you don't, you're just going to get flooded with fake games. The first time they did this, I was sitting there watching YouTube videos going, buying fake Pokemon games from GameStop. Let's see how many are real. And it would be like 1 out of every 50 copies is real.
Yeah.
People are going to abuse it. They'll shut the system down because they'll have 90% returns, all these fake games. And if they're going to sell to regular shops, they're going to be selling to 17, 18-year-olds who don't even fucking know what a Game Boy was. Trying to use a Game Boy, the touchscreen doesn't work. Like, seriously. No, that's not going to work. I'll get back to you, Joe.
And these days, it is way more abused of making fakes of like Pokemon games, especially, or just like all Nintendo handhelds at this point. The DS is starting to like get there with fakes out there. 3DS is not there yet, but all their older handhelds, they just get fake games so much. And no offense to the GameStop employees that's watching, just you're an exception to this. But most GameStop employees, especially the ones that I go to for my local stores, they don't know anything about video games. They know absolutely nothing. I think it's embarrassing.
I walked in there today to check out the store with my PlayStation hat on. And I'm like, you guys have retro games? He's like, yeah, we got Xbox. I'm like, fuck you. Do you see my hat? Where's your PlayStation games? I was just like, why would you say that? Literally have a PlayStation hat. I was just like, why? I don't know. It was just so funny, man. I was like, his first thing. We got Xbox. I'm like, oh, really?
Or like a month ago when I went in there to just buy so many Xbox gift cards for the 360 store, and they asked me, I was like, well, what are you buying here with all these? It's for the 360 store closing down.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean? It's for the 360. What? Where have you been, dude?
Yeah.
Like, that's still up.
Don't expect people to know everything in the industry, but like big headline stuff like that. If you are somewhat invested into games, I expect you probably know something like that going on at the time. But hey, who am I to judge for what you should keep up to date on this whole industry? Anyways, that's all meaningless at the end of the day compared to
So-
all the other problems we have in the world.
So I think Figsy. I mean, obviously, I think that the biggest problem is going to be fake games for sure. So
Agreed.
it just depends on how they do it. So I don't know if this is accurate. I'm not sure, but I read a lot of crap today about it, and I'm pretty sure they said the way that it was going to work is that if you sell them games, they get shipped to like a warehouse or something, and then they're supposed to get like checked over and then shipped out to different stores from some center or some shit. So if that's true and they actually have people in the warehouse who are checking the games and they're making sure they're real, that could work. But like if it's just like on an individual store to store basis based on what Mo, Larry, and Curly over there fucking know, then you're gonna have some issues for sure.
But I still see a problem in that.
Yeah,
they're gonna
there's
be
still a
like,
problem with that.
we've got $100,000 worth of fake games we can't sell, guys. What are we gonna do? We keep getting fake games. We can't sell them, and that's gonna happen. You know, like they have to hire people who are gonna pull the carts apart, know what they're doing, have the knowledge, and these people already work in game shops or are collectors like us who don't want to fucking work in a GameStop. You know, like
So-
it's the other option is train people, which costs money, which is an
They
expensive.
can't be
thing
bothered
as
to
well.
do
No.
anyways.
What they actually did is they hired geneticists to clone John Riggs, and they've made a clone army of John Riggs, and there's going to be one in every store, and he's going to just be able to eyeball that shit. Fake, real, fake.
Like the second they release a list of like this is what we're paying for games, and if suddenly like you've got games that are from $50 to $100 plus, people will take advantage of it. Unless they just focus on cheap games that sell every day that people want to play, like that would be cool. But that's not how retro gaming is. Retro gaming prices are up and down. Like you've got to have all varieties, and you can't just have the cheap stuff. You can't just have the expensive stuff. How was
Also-
the section? Did you look at the Xbox
Yeah,
games?
yeah, I went, and it was, it was okay. It wasn't that bad. See, I'm running, I have a problem where I just own everything. Like, so it was a decent selection, but I'm like, got it. Shit. All right, well, that's cool. See ya. But they had like, had some NES. They had Vita. Like, that was the most impressive thing they had in my store that I went to. Is they had a nice selection of Vita games, but like I said, I had almost all of them, so I didn't get them. But then they had decent PS2 selection. They had like nothing for PS1. They just had like Final Fantasy 9 loose disc. Like everything was loose disc too. They had no cases for anything. It was all just loose carts and loose discs.
Oh, okay. What's the point?
And then
For
except for
us.
the Vita stuff, they had some cased Vita games. They had a few DS games in cases. They had a lot of 360 games in cases and a lot of Wii games in cases. So they, but overall, it didn't blow my mind. Nothing
If you're
rare.
only selling incomplete stuff like that, you are avoiding the whole like collector as an audience. And then if the game's fake, even if it works, the average person who's buying it probably just wants to play it. So like maybe if that's the audience that they're going for and they're like, they don't care about collectors, they're just selling games that work, discs only, blah, 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 then that actually might work. It won't be for us. It'll be for a different category of gamer who are just looking for cheap games to play. I can see that working.
Maybe
you can
those
sell
parents,
fake
though.
games to someone as long as they work and they still have a good experience. They're not going to complain.
I mean,
Until
and
it stops working a year later.
well, sure, if it's like
Yeah.
a burned disc or something. I feel like as a disc collector, I'm at a huge advantage though, because those just aren't faked as much. Artwork, I'm worried about. Repro stuff like that. Not being.
I had a game around the
accurately,
other
but-
day and the artwork was fake, and like the seller's like, no, it's not. And I had to like show them that it was fake, and they sent me a full refund apologizing, and
Mhm.
like that was genuine. They sent me a full refund. They relisted it as fake artwork, blah blah blah. So it's just like they had no idea, and they must have
Mhm.
bought it off someone and who done it themselves. And
Yep.
like unless you're looking and you know what to look for, you know what paper feels like, and
Exactly.
different things like that. You might get caught out. And
Yeah, and and it's also like with like PS1 games, like if the case looks brand new, I'm mad sus. Like it, you know what I mean? It's gotta look like a used game to me. Like it's gotta have you some wear. The manual can't look too good. Like even the nice manual's got to have like one crease in it on the one page or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's if everything looks too good to be true, then it is too good to be true, unless it's sealed. And then
it depends on the title. You find common like shelfware games that no one's played.
That's true. You'll get sports games in immaculate condition and stuff. That's true.
But like the Gran Turismo you picked up the other day, finding a minty one that hasn't been in a collection. Good luck.
Correct. They're all the double cased games, or like the dual ones. Those are the hardest ones to find in good shape.
To find the manuals with them.
Yeah. So, but overall, I think it's a cool thing. I mean, I'm not mad about it. We'll see how it goes. I'm happy there's another place in town where I have an option to potentially get a good game. The prices were really good. That's the one thing I will say is like the prices were very fair. They weren't like Final Fantasy 9 was like $20 or something.
I want to touch back on this topic in 6 months. Check out the next order of I ordered Pokemon games from GameStop. Let's see how many are real, and let's see the results. Because
yeah, I think cart stuff you're rolling the dice for sure.
For like any,
I get flooded with fakes. It's not going to work.
How those are.
Because like if Nintendo catch on that you're selling fake stuff and it's GameStop, there'll be a legality issue there. So
there could be, yeah.
It's not like a small company. They'll be like, oh, they're a $1 billion company. Let's take them to court.
But yeah, I think it's cool. One thing I would like to echo is there were a few people online I saw say this too, including John Riggs. I think somebody else too. Like, why didn't they just call the stores Funko Lands again, or bring back one of the old?
I read that, but they're not going
cool.
to have the whole stigma of it's just Funko Lands, So to rebrand it kind of makes more sense.
I like.
But it's cool that they're using all like the retro logos and like the announcement was really retro and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, hey, at least they have games in their stores. At least they didn't announce they're gonna just sell T-shirts and fucking dolls.
And just
controversial opinion. These stores will be the only stores to have video games in like 5 years.
Yeah, I think the regular GameStop will be like a game hot topic. It's going to be like a game theme store. You could get Mario lamps and shirts and towels and slippers, and you'll be able to get game themed stuff. Board games. You got to buy
like
posters.
cards for like Roblox and Fortnite bucks, and there'll be a card section. There'll be Pokemon cards and plushies and T-shirts and.
I agree.
There'll be coffee cups.
If you want a physical game,
go to
the old timey store. If you want
that's where the old people shop.
You want what now? A video, a game? We don't do that here anymore. Go down the street.
Like, are there music shops around? There's still bookshops.
Yeah.
I still see bookshops around.
There's still music. Well, in the mall, there's a music store.
I mean, music's kind of like over here.
I don't know. No, you're right. I don't know if there's any music stores left in my town. Damn. When Newbury Comics closed, that was sad. I used to live at Newbury Comics growing up, dude. I went there.
There's still
so much, dude.
There's still 2 vinyl stores in my area, and one of them, I actually picked up a brand new Minecraft vinyl record from them. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
God, anytime anyone's played Minecraft music, it's not that type. It's that stupid freaking trolley shit. You ever seen that? All that horrible brain. You guys ready to do some pickups?
Ask if we think EB Games will sell retro games. I don't see it happening in Australia. I would love for it to, but I just don't see it happening. The market over here is just so crazy that if they did it for one weekend, it would absolutely crash the system because people would take advantage of it. And I don't know. I don't think they would try and do it.
I feel like your inventory is a lot smaller. Too. Isn't it just way harder to find retro games in general in Australia?
Yeah, but it's a case of there's a lot of people just hoarding stuff.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Bastards.
small population and the people who have
Who
been
would
doing
do
it have
so?
been
Who
doing
would,
it for a
who would
long time.
hoard stuff? Who would do that? Who would buy all the games up and keep them in their house for themselves? What a bunch of jerks!
Someone this week that I went to buy games off, Pokemon games, and he had like 10 copies of every single one box.
Okay, well that's weird.
Okay.
And selling them for all above eBay prices too, like just weird,
Well, if he's selling them, he's selling them. I mean, who's laughing at the end of the day? I guess. Who would like to go first?
I've only got a couple this week, so I'm gonna
You want to go first? All right.
Yeah. All from the one franchise with no prizes.
Yeah, only a couple, but it's probably like $6,000 worth of games. Freaking Pokemon.
So the first one is the most expensive in the Ranger series. The Ranger series is a spin-off title for the DS. So this is Pokemon Ranger Guardian Science. I've never played these games. I will give them a go at some point. Probably this one because it is the most expensive. I'm assuming it's the better one. Maybe.
Dude, talk about printing money. Why doesn't freaking Nintendo release collections of those games? You know what I mean?
Right.
They're holding out.
God,
Any of the
rainy day
spin-off
if they need
games,
to.
honestly. Just like
Yeah,
what
dude.
Konami's been doing and Capcom.
And
Well,
then
just
these
imagine
two
they
are from
put
the
all
same.
they put all the
seller?
3DS ones on the Switch and just on a compilation. You know what
They
I'm
wouldn't.
saying?
They'll do one at a time, Joe, and get $60 a pop, and they would all sell.
They will.
So these two are from the same seller. I'm now one away from the full set of the mainline titles. I'm only missing Emerald. Unfortunately, Emerald's quite expensive in Australia. The cheapest one on eBay is $900, but the condition is too bad for me. I'm waiting for a nicer one to show up. So yeah, I'm willing to spend
don't
like
blame you if you
$1,000 if
spend-
you've got a copy.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, but they'll show up. If you get it sold, there's 3 or 4 that I would have bought. So I'm just like, I'll just wait a couple of months. One will show up. Blah blah blah. All right, but I'm happy to get these two. They're in pretty good condition. Like the boxes are perfect apart from the front of them, and they're both the same, owned by the same person. So he must have been like rough when he opened them. I'm happy to have all the sides absolutely perfect, which for me that's the biggest thing.
For display,
Anytime
yeah.
there's a rip or a dent, I don't like that. So I have to have all the sides perfect, which is quite difficult to track down. So here we have Sapphire. I'm happy
That
to
looks
have this.
great. Really nice.
Yeah, it's like 9.5 out of 10.
Mhm.
Apart from that little thing there. I had played Sapphire as a kid. My brother had it on his GBA. Absolutely loved it. One of my favorite Pokemon games. Very happy to have it in the collection. Looks great. Sit next to Ruby. And then this one was quite expensive. Didn't have these ones growing up. I never played them before. Probably will give it a go. And that is Leaf Green. This one I got it for $650, which is quite expensive. But again, it's in like immaculate condition. This one's even nicer than the Sapphire. So like this would be the 9.5. That would be the 9. Every side's just absolutely perfect.
This is what I'm saying. You only got 3 games, but dude, it's like $1,000.
You've been going so ham on this.
I got like
Going
8.
hard.
I got like
One
8
left.
games. It's like $120.
Once I'm done with Pokemon, I'm going to work on PS2, and a lot of the games I'm after are like $20-$30. So it'll be a different story. But yeah, it is fun to collect these games. It's like my childhood. It's cool to have them all like in a glass case on display, and there's one left. So there are a few spin-off ones, but
Wait,
like I feel that I'm like, I don't even want to buy this. Like it's a typing game or a pinball game or something. So I'll just wait for one to show up at a good price.
Pokemon fashion designer. Like fuck.
The keyboard one comes with a keyboard, and I don't want to buy it incomplete because what's the point? You have to buy it complete. So it's like, do I even want this one?
I mean, eventually, when it's the only one left, yes.
There's another one called Truzy, and it's $400, and it's a terrible game. It didn't sell well. It's expensive because people go for full sets, and like there's not many of them. So
I never heard of that one.
it's got a different name everywhere else. I'll think of it and I'll come back to you guys.
Sweet. I'm gonna go second because I have a feeling DStreet's got really nice shit. So I don't want to go after him.
It's called Pokemon Link everywhere else.
Okay.
Or in Europe,
gotcha.
I think. I think it is Truzy in US.
So I've been like I remember I told you I spent all that money on my dog and stuff. So the games I have been buying, I've been trying to keep them on the cheaper end, trying to pick up stuff that's not so wild, fill in my collection for things. So I didn't have these games, and I don't know, I just bought them all. So I got Jet Moto 1
Nice.
and Jet Moto 2. And surprisingly, Jet Moto 3.
I think I only have 2. Still have to get the others.
Yeah, they're not. These are relatively affordable games. They didn't cost me much. So, and they're fun games. Like I don't know. Lately, I've been like super into racing games. I've told you this. I mentioned it. I think every show for the last few weeks. But like, I don't know. I kind of. We were talking about racing games for like a multiple episodes, and I just got like really back into them again, and I've just been having so much fun. And I really like collecting them because they're relatively affordable, and I really like
most
them.
are really cheap.
Yeah, and I legitimately love the games, and I have a super fun playing them. So I'm just thrilled that there's like any games left that I like to play that are fun that I could still get for a decent price that are cheap. Like that just makes me very happy.
The only racing game I can think of that actually is very expensive is the Outrun game on the OG Xbox. I think it's like the first Outrun
That's like
game.
one of the most expensive games on the Xbox. I think it's like $300 something or something.
It's like top 3 for that system.
Mm-hmm. There's some other ones that are relatively expensive. There's a couple in the 360 that are decently expensive now, but I don't know if they'll stay that way because of the 360 hype. It might die down a little bit. And there's a couple on the PS2 that are not expensive, but they're like the $40-$50 range, a couple of them too. But yeah, and in general, they're just super, super cheap. And they're really fun. So I've been loving it. And it's funny because gosh, what's his name? There's a guy on Twitter I follow, like Michael French or something like that. I think he works for East Asia Soft. And like right at the same time where I was like all of a sudden obsessed with racing games, apparently this guy was too, and he just started being like, I've been playing all these racing games, and he's been doing showing, and I've been like just like reading all his posts and buying all the games that look good. And I'm like, I said to him, I'm like, dude, thank you. I've been this is really helpful. I've been like, right as I was like, I really like this. He's like, here's like every cool racing game that came out on the PS2. I was like, hell yeah. Yeah. So this next one is it's called El Shitty. Never heard of it?
El Shaddai.
No. It's El Shitty, and I'm pretty sure it's about a Mexican plumber. Am I not right? Is that not right?
I'll let you believe what you want. If
sure
you
I'm
enjoy
right.
the game more that way, I'll let you have it.
El Shitty. No, it's El Shaddai, and this is literally what Figsy said was pointless to buy. It was a port of a PS3 game.
It's just a port,
game,
really.
Such a good game. And it's like
It's so funny when you were saying that earlier. I was like, oh well, I'm an idiot. I just did.
It's like Ninja Gaiden if the main character took acid before the level.
Exactly. Yes.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, it's like a trippy action game, and it's like based on you like fight God or some shit, right? It's like you like go into heaven or something or some crazy thing. I mean, no, it's about a dude who likes poop. It's called El Shitty. We're going with that.
No, that's like one of my PS3 hidden gems right there. That's a great game.
It is a good game. In that same order from good old limited run games, I got my copy of Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked.
Let's go.
This one I struggled. I was like, do I get the PS4? Do I get the Switch? Do I get both? Can't really afford to get both anymore. Like if you notice, like my old videos of the old shows, I used to always get both, but I can't spend. That's a little reckless. I'm trying to buy like just maybe one at a time. I'm out of space too, so buying doubles is like I'm stacked. So, but yeah, this game's dope. It's a collection of the 2 Genesis games and then the Super Nintendo game, I believe. Is it 3 games or 2 games? I'm not even sure.
The PS4 didn't get the convention variant, only the Switch, right?
Correct. I don't think there was a convention variant for that, or if there was, I didn't have time to buy that in the sale or whatever. But I don't even care. I just wanted the regular copy. These games are just great. Even if you just play them on an emulator, they're fantastic games. I would recommend them. Super fun. Was there another game in that bundle from them? Oh yeah, they're maybe not. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Wrath of the Mutants Arcade or whatever. It's another Game Mill classic. Everybody loves the old Game Mill. It's a Ninja Turtles game. I'm getting it for the single reason alone. I don't give a shit if it's good, if it's bad. It says Ninja Turtles on it. It's going in my collection because I like the Ninja Turtles. All right, I'm in the right age group for that. That's where
They're
it
pumping
hits.
them out. Joe,
Yeah.
I got
So you
a
know how
question.
you like are
The-
obsessed with you Pokemon, and you have to because that's how Ninja Turtles is for me.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
get
it's
you.
the most nostalgic franchise of my life. You know.
So the GameStop background, it almost looks like the walls of Photoshop. Because if you go into a GameStop these days, most of the covers aren't there. They're just like the GameStop cover.
Oh, that's true.
So.
Yeah, you know, you're right. When I went in there today, that is not what the store looked like at all. First of all, when I walked in, the first thing I left was a whole wall of Funko Pops, as you should. And then it was everything, all the games on the right side, and like you said, almost 90% of them are that GameStop case. That's not like an actual case.
I've seen photos. It's a lot worse in Australia. Like it is full walls of it. It's wild. I posted one the other day. Actually, I'll try and find it.
This is the other game from that order. I'm an idiot. I picked up Glay Lancer and Ganoog.
Nice.
These are Genesis shmups or Mega Drive shmups.
Mega Drive mainly.
Yeah, I always say Mega Drive. That's yeah, and I think some of these. I don't know if we even got. So Ganoog, I think, came out in the West and in the East, but it was it was called Wings of War, I believe. I think that's the same game, Ganoog and Wings of War. I could be wrong, but I think that's correct. And then Glay Lancer, I don't even know if we got that in the U.S. Did we? I don't even know. Maybe, but it's a fantastic game. Super dope.
My local game store does have the original Mega Drive cart of Glay Lancer in, and if you know how much that goes for, it's like $400 or $500 complete.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I told you, Joe, like I see that, and I have played Glay Lancer digitally on PS5, and I platinumed it as well. And like I see those prices, and I'm like, everyone involved for making the price like that, you're one of the highest mofos in this industry for that. So whatever idiot wants to spend that money on it, you do you.
I found that
can't
photo I was talking about too, and this is real. This is from a GameStop.
Yeah. That's
just-
what they were intending for most of it. But they,
That's
you know,
funny.
I expected it. I don't expect it to be complete. You know, it's nice that they have a case at all. My only thing about so this is another talk. I don't want to go off on that too much again, but yeah, one of the things that people worried me is that like, what if they still throw away cases and manuals? Don't fucking sell your games to them. What if they do that still? What if they are like, oh, just use the stupid cases on the walls, guys, throw this shit out. Oh my God.
I'm sure they're probably still doing that.
I just don't like the idea of them touching all this rare stuff. Like, I don't even want them to be involved. They're like the worst, most for a company that sells video games. They're just disrespectful to the product. They do not give a shit. Like, it's like, imagine if like fucking you go to the supermarket and all your cereal was just in a bowl, and they're like, we don't got fucking room for boxes. We just take that shit out, pour it out, fucking scoop it out of this bucket, take it home.
Supermarket's a bad example because they throw a lot of shit out that could still be eaten by people. But like, or just if you don't believe Joe, just look up GameStop dumpster diving videos on YouTube, and you'll be shocked at the stuff that they
so
throw out.
many of them.
And what they do is they slit the discs and they cut things so you can't resell them or you can't collect them or can't use them, and you know it's just.
And did you see that Twitter post they did right after the 360 store closed? Guess you guys just wished you bought physical games from us now. They got flooded with so much hate for that, and people saying, says the same company as you said, Figsy, knifes the discs and just tosses stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're just, oh, okay, yeah, I'll come into your store and buy, some physical games. They just send a picture, just Funkos. It's embarrassing that they just have.
Like when they made that post, they didn't even sell 360 games at that point. Like, what a joke!
They didn't. No.
So I got another gem here. I've been eyeballing this one for a while, and I bought it just because it goddamn went on sale, and I had to. But I did pick up Walking Dead Destiny. Another game mill entertainment. I think I'm gonna I might as well. I think I'm gonna go for a full game mill set, just because I have so many of them already. I have this. I have the one I just showed you. I have Shrek Racing. I have freaking Gollum. I have Kong. I have so many game mill games. I'm like, I think I'm just gonna look it all up.
The AAA stuff.
So I'll have the full Sedesco set. And then the full game mill set to go with it. So
I'm going to stick to Atlas and NIS America.
Yeah, it's probably a better investment if you're looking for a monetary gain.
I'll actually play them too.
Oh, no, dude. I might play Walking Dead Destinies. I mean, that looks... No, I'm not going to play that.
Exactly.
War Jets for the PS2.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, this was a recommendation from Nerdy Nick from the N Squared podcast when he was on the other day. This is one of the games that he recommended. He said it was sort of like a Twisted Metal style game. I don't think
okay. I was thinking like Star Wars pod racing or something.
So, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look like an arena fighter to me, but it's like, I'm not sure. I haven't played it yet, but I think you just fly around. Oh, wait, no. It says 9 air combat vehicles, defeat all gangs to fly, every killer. Maybe it does have that. 33 fighting arenas, air-to-air, air-to-ground fighting. Oh, I was watching the air-to-ground fighting, I think, because the guy I was watching in the video was just flying around blowing shit up on the ground. But either way, it looks fun. The graphics look tight. The controls look good. This is my type of game, so I like it. And Nerdy Nick's a good dude. If you haven't watched that episode, it was the N Squared podcast. It's a great episode, and you should go sub to him too. He's a good dude. He's got a really cool podcast as well. If you guys want more gaming content. All right, so the last thing that came in, Figsy, is I got that order from the Ring Games.
So I'm involved in this. Let's go.
I got my copy of Castlevania Requiem, and I got my cool game. Are you
going to open it?
Fuck no.
Because it's got the cool variant inside.
Absolutely not. You know what else it has on it? That sticker right there that says Comic-Con. And that's on the outside. A sticker. Son. Yep. That's on the outside, son. That ain't getting opened ever. That's staying just like that on the shelf. And so now I have oh man, I have I have 2 copies of the regular version of this game. I have the NES version, and I have the PS1 version. I don't have the Genesis version, the Bloodlines one or whatever. So I might get that one. And I don't have the $200. Wait, did they make a $200 crazy version for this? I'm sure they did. I don't have the super duper ultimate. I don't have that version. But I have most of the cool ones. So I do kind of want to get the Genesis one just because then I'll have the PlayStation 1, the Genesis one, and the Nintendo one.
You're going to get the PC Engine version of Rondo of Blood?
Did they have that too?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the actual PC Engine? Hell no! Good God, that thing's like.
Did North America get a collector's edition on
$2,000 or something?
So PAL got a collector's edition for Sympathy of the Night on PS1. It's like $3,000.
You mean actually back in the day?
Yeah, on the PS1.
I don't think we got one. I know Japan got a pretty nice version, didn't they? Or was it on the Saturn? Isn't that what? Oh no, that was
Saturn just got a normal release.
That was. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the that one that Reggie showed off. That was like the repro one from Retro something. Retro.
Maybe it's just the Power Rangers, but yeah, it's like at one point I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to own, and then it's just ridiculous price. I'm never owning it,
and then
unless I find one just randomly.
Figsy, your Persona foil covers are in that box, and they're all wrapped up and ready to go because I don't fuck around with other people's shit. I immediately took them out, placed them in the nice bubble wrap, and I left them there. They're gonna come to you exactly as they are, sir. I don't want to risk
So it's time to buy North American games, you're telling me.
Yes. If you want to fill that box, there's definitely more room in there.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm in the same boat with I want you to ship me that Splatoon, and I don't know what else to buy from you, so I might just have you ship me just that one game because I don't know what else to fucking
Yeah,
buy.
if you
dude.
want, let me know.
Yeah,
Work it out.
I do want that, but I don't know what else to do with it.
Like that Resident Evil thing you wanted, I looked it up, and like there's one on eBay for $150. You know.
No, I can get the PAL copy for like $50.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna do
for
that.
you, it makes sense to get a UK copy over an Australian one.
Yeah, and every time I see one of the Australian ones, it's like sealed, and I'm like, I definitely don't need that. I'll take a nice open copy. It's just a sleeve. That's the thing that drives me crazy. It's just a sleeve that goes over it. That's lenticular.
Have you got the Resident Evil 3 sleeve?
I don't. You mean the
And
one
if
for
you don't,
PS4?
I'll go and grab it so I can show you what it is.
One day I want to
Okay.
get the RE4 remakes lenticular sleeve.
Yeah,
That was PAL exclusive, if I remember.
There are so many versions of Resident Evil games on PS4. If you bought like all the variants between 7 and the remakes and then the old remasters and then all the variants and everything, dude, I bet there's probably like over 30 games, I swear, of just Resident Evil variants. It's insane, especially if you start collecting internationally and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
So here, it's pretty cool how it is, actually. I just looked at it. So it's Resident Evil 3. It's got a lenticular slipcover.
That is cool.
It's just got no ratings or anything on the
nice.
front, which is kind of cool. But it's clear. If you pull it out,
Mhm.
it's completely clear except the lenticular part.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I can see if I can find one for you. I don't know what they go for.
Sweet. Yeah, dude. What'd be cool is Griffin Knight Epic. You know where to find a copy of that?
Don't you have one on the Switch? Do you really need to?
Yeah, man. I have like every shmup on the PS4 except for that one and the freaking $400 Darius Japanese collector's edition that came out in Japan.
So it's funny, like I like the game, but I wouldn't own it knowing the price it is today unless I bought it at retail, you know.
It's just a shitty game. You should sell it for like $50. It's total crap.
Yeah, it's that I like it in my collection, so sorry. It has gone down in price. Like it used to be a $500 game. It's not a $500 game anymore.
No, it's like
It's like a $300 game.
And
that was with the Switch copy coming out, and people who really wanted to play it then went and bought that version instead of buying the PS4 version, etc.
I think the cheapest one I've seen is like $150, and then on average it's like $200 to $300 still. If it's sealed, you're looking at. I'm thought that's like a used copy, cheap one.
Mine's sealed with the postcard and the sticker and everything that came with it, And I got a low number too, which is cool.
That one that was $150, I think I showed it to you too. It was like it was unnumbered. Which is
which is like a hole punch type thing. Yeah, that was.
It was like just a weird copy, and I'm like, it's not numbered, and I don't know. Mine might be even rarer, cooler, to be honest. But I didn't want to fuck around. Case
I mean, technically they're rarer, but they're like the copies that aren't sold, given out to people and things like that. So I don't want a hole punch limited run game. They're rarer, but I don't want one.
All right, bring us home, DStreet.
Alrighty. So
I bet this is gonna be good.
Well, I wouldn't say I got, like really sick stuff. It's just very varied for what I've got. So Figsy in here, I recently went on a road trip with my friend upstate here in Michigan. Just go to multiple different stores that we haven't been to in a long time. Nice. That we planned this trip like many months in advance, so did come prepared for it. So going over all I got. And also a few things here was just stuff like in the mail over the couple months. First thing I'll mention before I forget, this Switch OLED right here, that's the Tears of the Kingdom OLED model. I do have the box and everything. It's just put away elsewhere, but I did get that recently. And I also did play through Breath of the Wild 100% run for the first time. And
nice.
And safe to say, I never want to play that game ever again after doing that.
Wow.
I never want to play it ever again.
Have you seen the video of someone who cleaned their Switch with like rubbing alcohol and it actually rubbed off the
back of it? Yeah,
I'd be so upset if they did that.
They did. Yeah, they used like the 90 7%, like the strongest one that you could possibly use. Not that you should use any of them, but
Mhm.
yeah, just like Fixie said, the whole like, you know, pattern on the back that makes it a special edition. They wiped it off, and what's they only wiped off. Like
it was
half,
clean,
too.
but it was a regular Switch after that.
Oh man, I would be very, very sad. But you know what happened is now people would just put it on eBay and then just not show you the back and sell it to you. That's what they would do.
I hate when they
People
do
are pieces
that.
of shit.
That's fine. eBay got a guaranteed return policy. I'm returning that. If someone tries to
absolutely,
fuck me
yeah.
around on eBay, the second I open it, I've filed a return within like 30
I know
seconds.
if you're selling stuff on eBay, like me and you both, Figsy, like we know what it's like. If someone, whatever reason, wants to return the thing, they're gonna win at the end of the day. So I
Yep.
give them multiple pictures as if it was actually me buying the product myself, personally.
You can put no returns, but eBay have their own return policy, so it doesn't
They
matter
do,
if you have no returns. So you may as well just put returns and increase your sales because people will be like, "See, this guy's got returns."
Yeah, it'll give the buyer more confidence too. So yeah, I don't really have like no returns turned on for my listings. I haven't sold in like a year and a half still, but future, like I'll definitely be doing that.
eBay will pump you up in the ratings too. They want you to have returns.
That's
So
true,
if you don't
yeah.
have it, they'll be like, "Let's hire this guy and let's pump this other one up." You know, you got to jump through all their hoops.
Right, that makes sense. So you mentioned about the lenticular covers you showed off. I got this one art piece from one local store here recently. It is Samus
Nice.
Aran.
Oh, let's go.
Wait, Samus is a chick? What?
Mhm. I'm sure this was from Motor City Comic Con like a year or two ago. I
That's
just didn't
really
like pick
cool.
it up, but went ahead and got it.
That's like legit cool as fuck, dude.
I
Yeah, that's nice.
love lenticular
Like the whole way it's like the
covers so
suit
much.
cover. That's really cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a really clever use of one too. Like that's neat. Yeah, I like that.
I think
I like how
there's
you can still
damage.
slightly see her face through the screen.
Yeah,
at
yeah, you
certain
can always
angles.
see her eyes.
And she's still looking in the same direction too. You can tell.
the gun
That's pretty
faces
rad,
the way
bro.
the arm
The
goes
Metroids in
and-
the corner move slightly too.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can tell.
Yeah, yeah.
And her pistol, the Zero Suit, it's the pistol, and then the actual
Yeah, the
cannon it
plasma
goes
cannon.
Yeah,
to.
let's go.
They paid attention to all details with this. It was really
That's cool. Oh, we'll
But
be on Metroid
lenticulars-
Fever once Prime 4 comes out.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I'm requesting
Mm-hmm.
time off work when that comes out, just like I did with SH2 Remake. I think my most favorite lenticular cover that I have would probably be this, the Xenosaga 3 lenticular, that in the States, this was exclusive to Best Buy. I've had this for quite a while, but I definitely want to make sure that I scored this. It has gone up a lot more since then. I was really happy that I got it like 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just the regular version's pretty pricey. I'm assuming that's
It still is, yeah, because the game didn't sell well in general back then.
that's
But one
cool.
other PS2 game I got during this trip, I never heard of this game until I was recently doing research or just making up my whole wish list of PS2 games I either like want to buy or am interested in, and this was
Mhm.
one of them, Nightshade.
Oh, dude, that game looks sick,
Nice.
dude.
It looks like a Devil May
Shinobi
Cry
or
hack
something.
and slash game. Just like the cover instantly drew my attention to it, and this was probably the most expensive. It's at least
That's
from
on
the
my
one
list,
store
too.
I got it from. It was the most valuable game that I bought. But yeah, really happy to get it. Thankfully.
Well, I want to buy that one too, so nobody else buy it. That game sucks. Keep that price down. It's terrible. It's one of the worst games ever made.
Terrible pickup DStreet. Boo.
I like legitimately. That's like on my like top 10 PS2. Like that will be bought in the next year or so for me for sure.
Nice.
I had that
There's-
sad realization that some of the games on my list have like doubled in price, and I'm like, do I now want them now that this $100 game is $300? Do I really want it?
3DS is like that right now for me because it has come back up in popularity so much that we'll hold
Dude.
off on that for some time right now.
3DS consoles
are so expensive
are
right
fucking
now.
nuts, dude. Like,
That's
want-
what it is. If it's the 3DS XL new, like yeah,
correct. If it's the
expensive.
original model, you can get them for like 150 to 200, but the new ones they're like 250 to 350. And then if you have an actual cool edition, jeez, man.
special
If you have a
edition
boxed
one.
one, talking
I sold
400,
one
800,
to
900.
Saudi Arabia for like $800.
Yeah.
And at the time
It's
I bought it, it
insane.
was on eBay for like $150. You know, and I
Mhm.
didn't expect to flip it, but I looked up the value and I'm like, all right, that's not worth that anymore. It's time to get rid of it.
What also sucks for me, I want to get like all special edition Zelda Nintendo consoles. I have the Switch OLED one. I have the Wind Waker Wii U system. My 3DS is the new 3DS Hyrule Edition. That's the main one that I use, and that's the one that I filled it up with the eShop before it closed. And I want to get the Link Between Worlds one. The one that is going to suck so much is the new 2DS Hylian Shield one. I looked at the prices of it like 3 days ago, boxed. It's $1,000 right now.
Dude, and I remember when those were on sale in GameStop, dude, for like $100. I remember,
know, right?
dude. You
But
could have bought
nobody
those
was
all
buying the
day.
3DS anymore.
Nobody was buying those.
After the new 2DS came out, which, in my opinion, that's the best version of the 3DS in general. It's the most aesthetically pleasing, honestly.
I think that's why there's so much now. Is at the time, I don't think people really knew that or thought about it, but as time's gone on, people do realize that those are like the best. They're most comfortable to hold. Yeah, those are nice.
It's just people wanted Switches at the time, which don't blame them at all.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of people who legitimately do not like the 3D. Like they do not like it. It's not that they're like,
Most people
I
don't.
could care less. They're like, no, I dislike it. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm not a fan of it. I prefer to play without it.
Well, the original one sucked. The original 3DS, like before they fixed it, it was like it would get off all the time, and it would literally make you look.
It
like,
was
feel
bad.
sick.
I bought it
you'd
on
be-
launch
it-
day too. It was not good
It
at
was
all.
like disorienting. It wasn't good. The new 3DS XL with the eye tracking is way better, which is why I feel like those consoles are so much more expensive because the 3D actually works.
Mhm. So next thing I got was a few PS4 limited edition anime games. Let's call them. This one,
Oh,
it's,
man of culture.
I am. The first one, it's Senran Kagura Estival versus Endless Summer Edition. The
Nice.
names of these games get so ridiculously long. I actually have
Mhm.
two. I can't remember them at all. Thankfully, most of these like limited edition games that's like published by Marvelous and
Marvelous.
even Exceed, they still are like really affordable, honestly. As far as say like limited edition games for modern systems, they're pretty affordable, honestly. You can still find plenty of them sealed as well too.
That's cool.
Depends on where you live. That
That
one got
too,
banned
yeah.
in Australia. So it's like, yeah, ridiculous. Like people are selling it for $300 over here.
Curious to know if this one got banned. Actually, it is Kandagawa Jet Girls Racing Hearts edition.
That's such a good game. Oh, you got the cool edition too.
Yeah, it's a cardboard box, literally. Comes
Mhm.
with a soundtrack and and an art book as well too.
Dude, Reggie loves that game, just so you know.
It looks fun. It
He
looks
loves that
just
game.
a total weeb version of Hydro Thunder, honestly.
Yep.
I did get the DLC.
Kind of like
recently
Jet
for the
Moto,
game.
actually.
Because the DLC for this was actually on sale recently on PSN. And
Oh my
hey, it
God.
was such coincidence. Just went on the trip, and hey, let's finally pick up the
Dude.
game. Why don't we?
Senran Kagura 2 on 3DS in Australia is 500 Australian dollars.
Really, that's insane.
We call
That's
them
what
we
it
call
is.
them dingoes. I don't know.
That's smackaroos.
Smackaroos.
So there was one arcade place that I
Ranga.
went to, and
That's my
There
favorite
was-
insult now.
there was one accessory that I bought from them. It's like, sure. And surprisingly, these are really cheap to buy sealed still. It's sealed PS2 memory cards.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's
The-
cool. Nice.
The translucent red and blue ones right there.
So that's a pretty visual appealing collector's piece too. To keep
It really
sealed.
is.
Like,
I really like
cool.
the
yellow and the
packaging.
blue and the red. That pops.
Yeah.
Same
That's
for the
cool.
black as well too. I really like what they did for the packaging for like PS1, 2, and early PS3, where they were in like these cases here. And yeah, it is kind of cheap because I mean, a lot of products were like this around that time in general in
Hung up
other
on the
industries.
shelf.
But this is like really easy to display if it's in like a display shelf, honestly, compared to like modern day with how big the cardboard boxes are. But the goal is I want to get like sealed accessories of basically like all the mainline consoles from Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and Sega. The Sega's like, that's a gray area right there if I want sealed stuff for these days. But also like complete in box of the systems for like launch day systems, and just have like a long display of history of the stuff you would have bought on launch day as like a piece of history to just watch through it in my future house, that it's just a wall of history. So really nice to get that really
That's
cheap.
cool.
This
Yeah,
big box thing.
finding sealed PS2 anything is cool. Controllers, the remotes, even like that stuff's neat.
The remotes are so cheap. They're like
Mhm.
$10 to $20 because nobody bought them and nobody uses the PS2 as a DVD player anymore, sadly.
Not
Yet that's
anymore.
like why it mostly sold, at least to people who didn't play video games.
Yeah, it
So-
gives you a CD player, I guess, too. But yeah,
So-
that's the DVDs, man.
So this was waiting on this for a long time, especially like since I first played the game, like it was about like a year ago at this point. It's the big box System Shock remake
Oh,
for
boy.
the PC.
Nice.
That thing's huge.
This is the what they called the Slacker Backers edition. If you look at the one that they have on the Kickstarter page, it's different than this. That one comes with like a little figure of the spider enemy, which there's only like 2 of them in the game, weirdly enough. But this one, it has a steelbook case. I'll actually show it. I'm not gonna take everything out because it's kind of hard to put this back together.
The game is hard, by the way.
But so good. It's so faithful, and I love it for that.
It is, but
but
I'm like a
it was
dummy, dumb,
definitely-
dumb, bum, dumb who's used to like playing games that are like, go here, stupid. And that
Mhm.
game's just like, figure it out, jackass. I'm like, oh no.
But it
I
just
like
helps
the
you get
non-handheld.
immersed, though. I absolutely love the
Yeah.
non-hand holding because if
Makes
you really
look
want to
for
figure out
every little corner, every little like
every
nook and
audio
cranny.
log, so you can actually figure out what you have to do. You pay attention to that.
Yeah.
You figure out that's
You
what
literally
you
don't
have
even
to
know
do.
what you have to do in that game. It's like a story, and it's like, Fred hit this button once. You're like, all right, well, let's see if I can find that button, I guess, and see if I can hit it. You know, it's
That's
like,
nice.
Steelbook.
yeah, that's cool.
Even the
They're remaking
inside.
part 2 as well. That's coming out soon.
It's a remaster basically with all of like the best mods you can get for the OG System Shock 2, and plus it is coming to console finally. Because as I always say, it makes me infuriated that people say, I love BioShock so much. Have you played System Shock? No, what is that? Go play it.
Mhm.
It is literally the predecessor to it. And
2 is definitely
it's-
more like it. Yeah.
2 is way more like it, and it's 2's gameplay is just super ahead of its time, and it makes me so mad that for like BioShock 1 they took out the inventory system and you just chug every single drink that you get in that game. It's insane, but that's a whole tangent for another day. The disc that they give you in the Steelbook is that, apparently. And the game itself, it is a code right here. I haven't redeemed it. It actually has the soundtrack key on it. I might redeem that because I really like the game soundtrack. Other things this comes with is I'd say like it is an art book, but it really is like a tri-optimum onboarding the sheet, you could say. It's like a really poor art book. It's kind of disappointing, honestly, but hey, it's really cool as if you applied for the company itself. But really glad to get this finally, and also did get it physically on PS5 because this is
Nice.
one of my most favorite games ever in recent years. No joke.
Yeah, dude, Night Dive Studios is killing it. They have done. I played through that game. I through Quake. I just ordered Rise of the Triad. I ordered Star Wars Dark Forces. I'm like, they're just doing every game I like. I'm like, yes, keep them coming.
They also did a re-release of Doom 1 and 2, and it has a new episode in it, and also it did help with development to it as well. So in a way, Doom has like another new canon episode. It's really
That's
sick.
cool. That's super cool.
I did get one boxed system while on the trip, and I'm really happy it could be this because finding this boxed online on eBay is so hard to find these days because it just obviously did not sell. PlayStation TV.
Nice,
Nice.
dude.
What kind of sucks with this, I could tell that it probably came from like a Walmart or a Meijer where it was just shitting on an open shelf, and it had like that clasp that wraps around it with the wires, and they use a key to unlock it at the checkout. So
It's just got
therefore,
some
there's
squishes.
just like dents in like specific spots on the box, but that's okay because everything inside, it's like the person that bought this originally cut the tape and never used the system.
Mm.
Like the original cellophane plastic for the console is still there when I took it out. There's no cuts or scuffs or anywhere, putting you back in the bag and never using you. All the zip ties are there for everything. It's like, as I said, they cut the tape and never ever took the thing out. I'll gladly
cool.
take that for sure.
Did
Does
you get a
pretty
good price
pricey.
for it?
Yeah, it was like after the sale that I got, it was like 30% off for the whole order. I say this was, let's say, like $80 or $90 roundabout.
That's good.
Yeah,
I'll
nice.
definitely take
Definitely
that.
good.
I do have my original one that I did get on launch day. Matter of fact, I for some reason just didn't keep the box because that was before the collector's mind that I had. But it's like crushed in between my PC and PS5 there. Maybe I'll mod that one day, but yeah,
You
we'll
should
see.
definitely mod it. If you have two of them, hell yeah, you should mod one of
Yeah,
them.
now that I have a second one that's like essentially like never
Complete,
been touched, that'll be like the display piece. So one day for Vita stuff, because I now have like a complete boxed 3G Wi-Fi model, a slim model, and now have that. So like just the main systems of Vita is done. Now it's just like special editions I would have to get for consoles. All right, one other edition I got, another anime game. It's Record of Argrist War 2 Limited Edition.
Nice.
If I remember, this was like a grid-based strategy game. Those type of RPGs do interest me. It was really, really cheap. This was like $30 roundabout.
I heard that's a good game. I've never played it, but
All right. One other thing that I've definitely gotten into lately has been magazine collecting because, recently Rip Game Informer, and that has really just made me create like a big wish list of all of like the outlets that pad magazines and just pick like the ones that I want to get. So here at the same arcade place that I got the memory card, we got some GamePro magazines right here.
nice, dude.
This one has like a headline of Vice City.
Yeah, it's
back then.
GTA. Yep.
Let's see. Shenmue 2. Ugh, I hate that game so much. Link to the Past for the GBA. That was another
I heard that
thing.
game's decent.
Yeah, I'll put these on the floor before it slips. Right. This next one, you got Perfect Dark, and I think
Hey.
that's Tekken right there.
Is that
This-
King?
I don't know. Is it? I don't play Tekken.
Does he have a
at all.
lion head? Yeah, that's King.
Yeah, it's a lion head.
Yeah,
And I think this one here,
Unless it's
it
his
has
brother or whatever. He's a tag team partner. I don't remember his name.
He's
But yeah.
got a scar on his right eye, if that means
I don't
anything.
freaking know.
Right. I love that it says hands-on with the PlayStation 2, including Tekken. So I believe this came out. Which was this? June of 2000. So that was launch year of the
Oh, wow.
PS2. So if this was the one, there was like 2 pages where it was like just PS2 stuff, and it looked really, really cool. I look forward to reading that one day. Next one is mostly Resident Evil Code Veronica. Full art right there. Pokemon Stadium on the front. Majora's Mask is on here too. Pretty nice. Next one, Siphon Filter 2 for the PlayStation.
Classic. So those are some PS1 games I'm going to be after as well. No, I got the Jet Moto set. I like picking up little sets at a time like that.
Sure.
I don't have those games. I've never played those games all the way through.
And this next one here, it's got both Dino Crisis and Resident Evil 3. Just know your history of the release of that. Pretty
And
cool
Pokemon,
seeing them right
Final
next to each
Fantasy
other.
8 and Legacy of Kain. I mean, that's just freaking all fire. Sonic. That's all fire.
Sonic has to be there. That ruins it.
Hey, Sonic ain't that bad. Although I got to be honest, I'm not a huge Sonic fan. I like the original game, Genesis games, and it's kind of it. And the Sega CD game.
Look at the back of this one. Hitman, always business, never personal.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's really fitting for him. Also from there is a big stack of the Nintendo Power official guides for some of these games.
Oh,
Some of
goodness.
these do have like the fold out poster, but it's not actually a poster. It's just like extended guides, basically.
Mhm.
First one is Final Fantasy V Advanced.
Nice. Final Fantasy Chronicles. I see it.
Crystal Chronicles right
Mhm.
there. Sword of Mana.
Nice. Love that
never,
series.
never seen
Can't-
gameplay of that.
Can't
Mana
wait
game.
to get Trials of Mana. That's on the list. I got to get that too. It's too many damn games, man. I know people are like,
Visions
"Oh,
of Mana
games suck.
just
There's
came
no
out today,
games. There's no
actually.
games." I'm like, get out of here. I can't even. I'm drowning in games.
Next one, Star Fox Adventures. In fact, if you bought Star Fox Adventures at Kmart back then, you actually got this guide with it. It does have like an advertisement on the front of the case, so you'll see like in like price charting of like 2 different listings for it, just Star Fox Adventures or Star Fox Adventures Kmart edition. It's just because it came with a player's guide. It's a nice one to have. Four Swords Adventures for the GameCube.
Nice. That's a good one.
Final Fantasy IV Advanced.
Hell yeah.
Just needs 6 advanced if they did make that for the GBA. The last 2 was really hyped to get these ones. These were definitely the biggest ones for me to get. Fire Emblem Sacred Stones.
Oh wow, that's sick, dude.
And then the big one, so happy to have this, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
That's sick, dude.
My
That's a cool
favorite
little
game in
set
the
of
series.
manuals, dude. I like how they're all part of the Nintendo set. That's really
Mhm.
cool.
I really like with the Path of Radiance one, they do have full art of the actual characters. Like every single character, they do have full art of them. Let's see. You see them on like the first couple page for the Grail Mercenaries.
You know what the abbreviation is of
Nice.
full art? It's just fart.
Yeah, pretty much. And then after buying all of that, the
Sorry,
guy
Jay.
threw me.
Shows long on the tooth.
After all of that, he just threw in this for free, the Game Genie
Hey,
Nice.
for Super Nintendo games.
you cheater.
I did have one back then for the Super Nintendo, and I would get my mother's help to read me the code so I can put them in the game.
I've used the Game Genie in a couple games. I think I used it on Punch Out for fun. I think there's a few games I used it on. Yeah,
I can't remember which ones I used.
I don't remember either, but I definitely did. I mean, we had one too.
Right, almost done with paper here. Don't know what I did with this one, but I did get a big guidebook of the original Resident Evil 4, and a thing that you should look more into those because they sometimes came with posters. So with that, I actually got this Resident Evil 4 poster that has exclusive art on it that I've never seen before.
That's cool.
Let's see if I can open it up real quick
Yeah,
and
that's
show
dope.
you. There's one side you have Leon fighting an El Gigante, and the other is definitely a terrifying one. Don't want to rip this.
Yeah, take your time.
Nice. Let's go.
I forgot the name of the thing that I always just go back to, just mutated Wolverine. But I love
Fair.
that Leon's just off in the distance there, as if he's like walking out of the cell when you first encounter the enemy. And then in the back, there's him with El Gigante in the back. And he's holding the TMP. Love that gun. And thank God he's wearing the super cool bomber jacket. I really love that jacket. That I really want a replica of it one of these days.
Are you gonna hang the poster up or just leave it?
I'll
like
get it
that?
framed one of these days. Resident Evil is one of those very few series that I want to collect like almost anything with the name on it and have many different art pieces of it. And because like I've never seen those art pieces for OG RE4, I think that'll get framed. I think I'll do it with the Wolverine guy on the side. Yeah, it came with a Bratty Games
that his name?
guidebook.
Is Garador his name? I don't know.
I think you're right. Yeah, Garador. I think that's the name. All right. One thing that I got literally today, matter of fact, is Visions of Mana for the
Hey.
PS5.
Nice.
Hey, that game looks so fun.
It does look really fun. I've seen a little bit of mixed reviews on it, but regardless, I still want to play it because it still looks cool, and I appreciate a unique art style for a game anyways. But
it's only got
what's-
the Asian English version, right? Oh, that's North American.
yeah, it's North American, the ESRB
Oh,
there.
I don't think we got it over here.
But how I got that, I pre-ordered it at my local GameStop, so therefore it came with this steelbook with it.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. Let's go.
It's all gold.
Oh,
It
that's
just-
cool. I like the back actually more than the front.
It has what seems like all of the main characters on
Yeah,
there,
and the
Hard to see.
Yggdrasil or whatever.
and then inside is like
Nice.
portraits
Yeah, I like
of the
that.
characters. With like the gold, it just seems like something you would expect from like a Zelda release. Honestly, I guess that's what drew me to it. Because normally I don't collect steelbooks at all, but this was definitely an exception. Honestly, I am sort of after like steelbooks for PS5 that are released in such a very exclusive or weird way. With that being like one of them, where you only could get it if you pre-ordered at GameStop. One others that's that I have that's like a similar story to that is the Valkyrie Elysium steelbook case.
Mm-hmm.
You only got this if you pre-ordered it from Best Buy's website. And the
A
most
lot
valuable
of the steelbooks these days are only available like in collector editions,
Collector's
limited run
editions.
games,
Fucked.
and
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bullshit. I saw like there was when they just announced, and maybe it was Doom. I can't remember. There was some they just announced one that was like a $300 collector's edition, and that's the only way you can get the steelbook.
Oh my god, that's insane.
but they
probably
know
the
that
most
there's steelbook
valuable one I
collectors out there
have.
that will buy it. They're like there's very hardcore dedicated.
I
steelbook
bet that they
collectors.
take that steelbook out and put that shit right back on up eBay. I bet they're just like, I just
They
want the
probably will,
steelbook.
yeah.
See you later. That's what I'd do. Try to
I
get every
did
penny
have
back.
the,
Every
s-
penny. I try to get my money back.
I did have the Scarlet Nexus steelbook that you could only get that if you pre-ordered the game on Bandai Namco's website. I did sell that because just that was selling for like $150 at one point. I don't know if it's come down or went up, but that was like 2 years ago that I sold that. So you see that one game sitting up top there?
Mhm.
Integrate. Well, got this when I pre-ordered the game back then. The
Nice.
Cool.
steelbook that you could only get at GameStop. I did check listings for this recently, and it is at like $150 roundabout. And there's only like 1 or 2 listings with this.
That's wild.
Definitely keeping this and in a protective case for sure.
Mhm.
Speaking of the Trails series, way earlier on, I did start playing the series for the very first time, and it has been with these releases. You got Cold Steel 1 Decisive Edition for the PS4, and also got like a couple days later on
Yeah, I
Cold
still need
Steel
that one.
2 Relentless Edition.
That's the only one I don't have. That Relentless Edition. I have the PAL copy of the game, so I have the game. I just don't have that.
North
And
America,
DSC
they
version.
didn't release them in like a
That-
standard case.
that's
That
all
was
you
the
could get
only
them.
way they
Yeah.
did it, which
And that's why I don't
sucks.
have it because it's not cheap.
Mhm.
I'm happy with my PS3 copy.
I'm happy with my PAL copy, to be honest with
Same,
you.
I got the copies as well too.
Yeah, I think I might actually sell my Decisive Edition just because. Hey,
got mine
why
as well.
why you copies me? Quit copies me. I'm just kidding.
And also got my con exclusive variant
Nice.
as well.
Very cool. Very
As
cool.
well as my personal
Well,
favorite Persona
hello,
game,
Mr. Fancy
Persona 4
Pants.
Golden, right there.
Mhm.
Honestly, I expected more of the actual hollow effect. You especially notice it on P3, but I can barely see it on
Mhm.
4 though. But hey,
To me,
it's still exclusive. About I'm 626 on a P4. I think I'm 646.
It looks,
on P3.
the spines look rad.
They
So if you
kinda
put them
do,
on your
yeah.
shelf and you walk by, you can see the hollow. Yeah, like they
Mhm.
pop out on the shelf because of that for sure.
So one thing I've really been getting into lately has been some 360 collecting because of the stores closing, and still
Mhm.
so many of the games are very cheap. And objectively, the 360 had the better versions back then. So I mainly am just after of like my favorite games of that generation that I'll get on Xbox. But one other thing that I might collect, and it saw it with like all of the magazines I've been looking into, is the demo discs that you got with the official Xbox magazine. This one in particular for Armored Core 4. What else was in this one? They also had like plenty of videos of all trailers that they had listed here. What's really cool, if you pop this in your 360, it boots into a different dashboard, and it's the Blades dashboard. So,
Let's go.
so if you want like a
Nice.
really cheap way to experience the Blades dashboard, is look for these demo discs. There you can get a taste of what it is without having to spend maybe like $300 on a potentially near red ringing 360.
Mhm.
One of some 360 games I got. This is like a unique cover for this well-known game, but was still cool to get. The Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year edition. It's kind of like a 3D rendered cover. I don't know if you'd call this lenticular, but it is hard to see. The cover is slightly like warped. You've shifted around enough. It looks like he's moving with
It's
the
like the night
background.
sky moves
Mhm.
and stuff.
That's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Also got Beautiful Katamari recently.
Nice.
This game was going up in price recently because of all the love the 360 was getting, but got it for a good price while on the trip. And this game I saw in my local store before the trip, and I did play this for the first time on PS3. Have to own a 360 version of this game, Spec Ops: The Line for the 360, special the premium edition specifically.
That's cool. Didn't that game get pulled recently or something?
Yeah, it did. Very, very sad that it did, because it's a game that deserves to be played by, if you even like any type of FPS game or military game, you got to play that game. It
Yeah,
will.
I've heard it's really good. A
It's
lot of
really,
people have said
really
it's really
good.
good.
So good. It's what I like to call Silent Hill 2, but disguised as like a military shooter game. When you play it for yourself, you'll know why. Also at the same store, the same time that I got Spec Ops, was the Halo 3 limited edition.
Nice.
It's like a really thick steel case that opens up on both sides. Has like the game itself, as well as like a documentary of the making of the game, and a few extras as well. Right in the last stack. Here we go. All right. While on the same trip, I did pick up the PS4 version of Lone Survivor.
Nice.
I do have the Vita version of this. I had that for a while, but finally got the PS4 version locally. Like whenever I do see like limited run games at local game stores and they're open, they always will sell them for the price accordingly. Like I always wait out on seeing that stuff that I didn't pick up when they first went up for sale.
Mhm.
Same thing applies for Chasm.
Nice.
This is like a 2D Metroidvania game, if I recall. I did play like a few minutes of this on PC years ago, and do remember like how well animated the characters are. So look forward to playing this eventually. The only PS3 game that I got from the trip is X-Blades.
That's the prequel to
Blades of Time.
Blades of Time, right? That one's actually pretty rare to come across now, isn't it?
This was $25 at the
that's not
store that
bad.
I went to, so it is more affordable than Blades of Time right now.
Mhm.
It's also a completely different art style compared to Blades of Time. Like this one, they're more on the anime themed side, while Blades of Time is more in the realistic side of for like human proportions. I mean, yeah, really cool to get this. Definitely play this before Blades of Time. Still got to buy Blades of Time anyway. No, I lied. I did get another PS3 game. It is Tales of Xillia Limited Edition. Surprisingly, this is still really cheap, and I do believe it's the Xillia games that are still exclusive to the PS3 as of today. Don't know why they haven't ported this and the sequel to modern systems, since the series is way more popular these days. I'll make these last. All right, 2 sealed Xbox One games, because recently there was a sale on, I think it was VG Plus, so where they had a bunch of stuff on sale. So some of this was literally like $4 or $7. First one, Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age.
Nice.
Final Fantasy, as well as Resident Evil, is like the series that I just want like every version of like every game, as well as regional variants, if there is enough of a difference for the other regions. Also got Valkyria Chronicles 4 sealed.
Nice. Good time to get it with the remaster just announced with limited
That's-
run.
That's true. Yeah, I want to get the Regalia edition on the Switch, but what pains me with that is that they have to have the Switch logo in the corner of the box. Like, I wish that wasn't there, but we'll definitely pick that up because I absolutely love this series. They are such. Yeah, I think they're way more overlooked that not a lot of people like have tried out this series, but I feel like it's well known enough these days, but nobody has like really just sat down and played these games. Hopefully we'll get a new one soon because the way like VC4 ended, they really like tied up at least the story or the universe of this, that if they're to make like a new entry, it's got to be in like a different war setting potentially. This will probably stay sealed because I do have to get the DLC for the Xbone version, and digitally the game goes on sale often, as well as like the complete edition, and that's probably I'll end up getting that if I want to play it on Xbox. Also
Hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. I don't know if you noticed. We got a little. Someone trying to call.
Hello?
Session?
Is that
What the fuck? What the hell? Oh, there he is. What's going on, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
You're still up?
I'm still awake.
Surprise addition to the show.
Yeah. I saw you guys
What's up,
were
Reggie?
on, and I wanted to see if I could hop on with you for a second. What's going
Oh,
on?
hell yeah.
Good
Hell
good
yeah.
timing. Never too late, Reggie.
Yeah.
He's finishing up his pickups and
Yep, just three things I have left here. So next one is PS5 game. It's called Alice Gear Aegis Concerto of Simulatrix.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I really did my best right there.
nice.
This seems like a aerial melee fighting game, if I remember. Looked really fun for the gameplay I've seen. It was really cheap too. It was like $7 or something. Yeah, all right, next one. This was really cheap, and I wanted to get it like less than like $20 because this version is really bad of this game, but hey, still seems fine enough for me. Tales of Symphonia remastered for PS4. What's so weird is since like the original GameCube release, it's like every version afterwards gets
It's gone downhill.
worse. Like the original GameCube version was 60 FPS, ported to PS2, 30 FPS, and graphically looked worse or like more blurry, kind of like with Resident Evil 4 GameCube to PS2 back then. The PC version originally when that came out was a terrible port, and then we got this here that had so many problems from what I heard. Don't remember all of them, but it had a lot of problems.
I was going to
You got
get
a
that
PS3
until
port as well.
they told me the PS3 port was just get that like me having that version was fine, so I skipped out on getting that one.
Yeah, PS3 version or GameCube version is the objective best ways to play Symphonia IMO from what I've seen. But hey, that was $7. I'll take it. And the last one, really hyped to play this eventually. Near Replicant.
Oh, that's an amazing game, man. So good.
Awesome game, yeah. And it's technically like the Japanese version because you get the non-buff dude for this remake here. I still want to get like a PS3 Japanese version of it because you have like the character from this in here, and the cover art is much different than ours too.
Yeah, it portrays the brother, not the father, because when they first brought it out, they didn't think that American audiences would be able to associate a brother helping his sister like a father helping his daughter. So that's why they did that. But I actually prefer the PS3 version. So if you haven't played that, I would recommend playing that first. I think it's I think they did a really good job.
Do have the PS3 versions, and it is really cheap to get it on there still. Look forward to playing it. And I guess they did that. It's like they didn't care about having like the masculine character because Nier is now popular, so they can do risks at this point with the series.
Nier is a
I'd love
spin-off
to
of
see a
Dragon
new
Ball,
one
right?
coming out.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a
so
spin-off of
Nier,
Dragon
how
Guard.
it works is Nier is based off the bad ending of Dragon Guard 2.
Okay.
It's complicated, but if you fully get into it, the bad ending of Dragon Guard 2 causes this disease that blah blah blah, and that's the disease that
I need
the
to look at
daughter
that
starts
then.
off with.
'Cause
Dragon Guard and Nier, it's the same universe, but I wouldn't say they're the same games. Like you're not going to get the same experience.
Well, it was kind of cool. They were able to branch off a non-canon ending into its own series. into a game.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
cool.
This weird game. You know, I recently tried playing this for the first time. I dropped it. I could only get like to the 4th level, and it's like I can't handle this game anymore. I'm dropping it. But
I
this is
tried
still
Dragon Guard 3 so many times. I tried.
the frame
man, I
rate is
tried.
just so awful. But that I'll play through because the story is actually really, really interesting. This just the gameplay just makes you want to kill yourself, and the music makes you just want to off yourself. But it's a really, really interesting game for what Yoko Taro wanted to achieve with that. It's something that you'd have to just look up like video essays for like what the intentions of this game was, and it's genius. It's terrible to play as a video game, but it's genius for what it tried to do.
At least part 2 picked up the slack, though, right?
I don't know. I do have it. I haven't played it yet because I want to break after playing like the torture fest that this was. But at least 3, really looking forward to because the characters really, really interesting in that game.
The problem with 3 is it didn't play well on the PS3.
Frame
It's
rate's
exclusive to the
awful.
PS3,
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, it's exclusive
still
to
is.
PS3.
so the frame rates and everything. Yeah, okay.
Unless you play on emulators, and yeah, it can be improved, but you really need a really, really good PC to.
I wouldn't say it's a bad game. Like I played it like 4 times because every time I put it down, I wanted to keep playing it. Like it's when you're like, I want to finish that game. Like Red Dead Redemption, I haven't finished it yet. I want to finish that game. Every time I'm like, I'm gonna finish you one day, but I think I've given up on that. I've
Sandbox games will do that to you.
done the Near Automata, Near Replicant. all the
I love
endings,
games
blah,
like
blah,
that.
blah.
That's what I said before. You have to have like a certain type of masochism sometimes to play some games. You're like,
Yeah.
this is whooping my ass, but I
Dragon
can't say
Guard
no.
1 is a
I gotta.
stretch,
I
though.
keep coming back for more punishment. I don't know. There's something about it. Like you're like,
And it's like you're dying because it's silly, and you're like, I was that close to killing that thing, and like that wasn't even hard. And then you do it again, you get to the exact same point. You're like, maybe it is hard.
One thing that I just remembered that I only bought this because I really want to see just how bad of a game this really is. This is arguably the worst JRPG on the PS2. It's Ephemeral Fantasia.
Oh my
Some
god, I
of us
remember
too.
that game. That was one of the first RPGs I got for the system.
I got that for like $5.
Was
and I
it?
sold it.
Dude, that game is so convoluted, man. Like you're on a timer in that game to do certain events, and you have no idea where to go. It's so confusing, man. Like they had a good idea, but they just didn't execute it right. That game is horrible. Ugh.
It's published by Konami too.
Yeah.
And what's
RPG.
interesting, I do like the spine where they did what they did with Silent Hill 2, where you see like 3 screenshots
I
from
like
the
that,
game.
yeah.
They did that with the Suikoden games as well on PS2. So at least to me, it'll look kind of interesting on the shelf. But look
Speaking
forward
of
to seeing just how
Suikoden, we finally
bad
got
this game is.
a date for the 1 and 2 getting announced next year.
It was
Yeah,
in
man.
March
They-
next year,
they-
right?
They freaking like. I wish they would have made a PS4 version of it though.
No,
I
it
might
is
go
on
play
PS4.
Yeah,
it
but
is
not a physical for America.
we're getting one in Australia. Really?
Really?
That's
You
wild.
guys are lucky.
Hmm.
At least if they haven't announced it yet, but I looked and they're promoting Switch and PS5. I'm like, wow, that game.
I'm sure I went and looked if I could pre-order it the other day, and they had it here. So
I think it's probably a game I'll pick up on launch day because, dude, Suikoden 2 deserves another chance once again. Why is it like almost every time where any release it has had throughout history, it just never sells at all, yet it totally deserves it.
It does, man. It's one of those RPGs that gets overlooked because just of the name itself. Like people don't even know what that means. So it's like, what? Like Suikoden, what is that? And they kind of like just brush it off. But though that series, pretty much all the games are really good.
They're
And,
all really good, yeah.
definitely. I'm glad that the part 1 and 2 are getting re-released. I mean, it should have happened like 2 years ago when they first announced it. I thought they were waiting for Union Chronicles 100 Heroes to get pushed, but even when that came out, it didn't come out. But it'll be out sometime next year, or March next year, right?
Yeah, I think March, I think it's like the first or second week of March is when it's
Okay.
releasing, if I remember. We'll definitely pick it up on launch day because Suikoden 2, as I said, deserves a chance. And Konami, please give us more Suikoden games. It's been way too long.
Yeah, give us all.
I think they've removed it from all the listings. I looked the other day, and you could order a PS4 copy, and now they're all taken down. Just the Switch
Weird.
version. So maybe that is the case. That It's just like a pleasure thing. That sucks.
So did any of you get your very last issues of Game Informer?
No,
have
I
4
haven't
of
been
them
down
here.
there. Nice, dude. I hope they put something special together for that last book, man, because it sucks to kind of see an era of gaming magazines go away.
They lasted for more than 30 years. In fact, the very first page of this issue right here, it says, Game Informer has been around since 1991. Keep us around for another 30 years.
Mm.
And this is the last issue.
Ouch.
Oh, that hurts so much. And they were shut down without anyone knowing until like the Twitter post. They were so blindsided by that. That just sucks. So man, do I feel really bad for whoever wrote that on the first page. But stocked up on 4 of these because typically the last issue for some magazines tend to get pretty valuable over time. So pick these up while they're like $2 or $3. And the GameStops that I've been to today, when I looked at the magazines for the ones they have left, they didn't have any more of those at all. So it's already getting kind of hard to find. But I think one thing to give Game Informer credit, despite like reading through like their magazines today, it just felt like I was reading like a website article, just like plain white and occasionally a screenshot, and that's it. Compared to how magazines were back then, they had so much personality. But give them credit, the front art always looked pretty cool though. So there's like good Sonic art right there. RE4 remake, it looks cool to me. Elephant Mario. And Armored Core looks pretty sick, honestly. I do have a couple of these here, so I love Armored Core. Sea of Stars, so occasionally they did indie games, didn't solely focus on AAA games. It was pretty nice.
Some DLC just got announced for that game.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I was going to say we got the DLC.
And this is for Hades 2. It's a pretty sick cover right there they did for it. And then the last one, my favorite of the whole bunch that I have. I think I have like 5 of these. The FF7 Rebirth, because that is a sick cover of Rebirth, Sephiroth, Nibelheim incident. And if you flip it to the back, you get Cloud. So I think this will look really cool as in like a display with FF7 related stuff, personally. That's why that I stocked up on some of these. So damn shame to see him go, but all things have to come to an end, as they always say.
In the world of where, YouTube videos can cover what the magazine does in seconds, it's hard to compete, and it makes sense.
It really is. It's way more impressive. They lasted this long, honestly, since 1991. It really was just because they were owned by GameStop, and that's how they could just stick around.
True. I guess it's time to show my pickups.
Let's go.
Well, this is one of my favorite games, and I just got this recently. I'm happy to have it. This is Kanagawa Jet Girls.
He just showed that off.
I just showed that off.
Really? Oh my god!
Yeah,
I didn't see that at all. No, I was kidding. I thought I showed that as a joke, but I'm actually gonna play it later tonight. But
he showed that when you weren't here, and I'm like, oh my god, what are the odds? Reggie loves that game.
Hopefully, Joe, I'm kind of forgetting, man, but hopefully I didn't show these games. Hopefully, yeah. Well, if I did, oh well.
I don't even remember.
Trip World for the PS4.
I watch all your videos, and I don't remember if I saw them on your videos on this show.
I know, right? It's like it's all jumbled up. But Trip World, a cool platform game. It came out on the Game Boy. I have the original on the Game Boy, the European one. That one is worth a lot of money, but now I can play the DX version on modern consoles, which is actually the game is in color now. You can play the black and white version, and you can play the DX version in color, which is nice.
That's cool. Nice.
Lots of extras on there too, like interviews and how the game was created. I love when they add that type of stuff. And then I got NBA Jam Hang Time for the PS1.
That's kind of expensive. I looked at it.
It is. Sorry about that glare. Yeah, dude, I was like, I did a big trade-in, so I was like, yes, dude, got it for nothing. But yeah, man, just like I love when my local store, like they post stuff on their Instagram, and then I could do web shopping pretty much and just go down and get it. So trade-in credit for this, and I got it for nothing. And now I just need NBA Jam Tournament Edition. on the
Nice.
PS1, which is considered the best in the series. Then we have a game that's going to probably go offline later this year. It had potential. I wish it had a single player mode because, like with multiplayer games, if they go offline, that's it. They're a coffin. But Evil did the game.
That one has some single player content, but it's kind of
that was an online only game or mostly online game.
It
I
started
didn't know
off that way. Yeah, it was an online only game, and then they added a bunch of like single player missions. So
I would not
there
expect
is
a game
single
like
player
that to be
missions,
to be like
but
that.
but that's one of those stupid games where you requires an internet connection to play, even if you're playing by yourself.
Single player.
So even if you want to play those missions, you still have to have an internet connection. So those
it's got
are
an
probably
expiry date on it.
exactly. So
Yeah,
even that'll probably die someday.
Yeah, it's annoying, man. Like they did that with another game. Was it Diablo 4 or Diablo 4 has that DRM where you have to, even the single players online. Like, we have to know what you're doing at all times. Like, no, I'm playing offline. Leave me alone. But they
seriously,
Gran Turismo 7 is the same. Like
GT7 will be the same. Yep.
Like, come on.
Yeah, the data that people give them is so valuable, man. Like watching what people are doing on these games, man. They just like, I feel like a lot of games are going to start doing that, and if you like, especially AAA titles are going to definitely keep on doing it. So it's annoying, but whatever. Next game I got here. I think I showed this one last time, but I did show this one, so I'll show it again. Saints Row remastered. Me and Fixie talked about the fourth game that has a complete version, which is kind of cool. But I think this one's probably the high pinnacle of the series, man. At least in my thing. I mean, the production value to put in this game, the comedic roles and everything like that. I was like, dude, this game is on point, especially the first beginning missions. Oh my God, really pulls you in. So definitely cool to have that. It's kind of sad. It's the end of an era with the Saints Row. They tried to rebrand it, well, not rebrand it, but bring it out like a reboot it, and it was just lame.
It just didn't work. Yeah,
it did not work out.
They wanted the same characters, like at least, but a lot of these guys are scared to take chances with making sequels, so they wanted to just reboot everything, and it didn't work. So, yeah, rest in peace, Saints Row. 4 good games in the series, and then 1 game that was not so good.
Killed the whole company.
Interesting, yeah.
Killed the company. Yep.
Steel Assault, Bionic Commando meets.
Game's hard as balls, man.
It is tough, man. Like even the first
level, hard, dude. That stupid second boss or whatever it is with all the lightning everywhere, and you have to like hook onto the ceiling, and then the lightning goes. Dude, that gave me PTSD.
But it's definitely a love letter to old school platform gamers. I mean, they really went in on this game, like the production values. It just feels like a really cool NES or Super Nintendo game. So definitely outstanding job with this one. I wish there was an easy mode, but hey, I'm just gonna have to get good at it.
Nope.
All right, so this one came the other day. I don't know. It's hard to pronounce this one with the freaking the way that the font is, but I think it's called It's called Demons Astrogorg. Oh, thank you. There you go. Got this from Pixel Heart. The game originally came out on Genesis, but they ported it to other systems. Make it more modern. And there's a Switch version. Of course, I got the PS4 version. And this one's actually pretty fun. I like this one. It definitely feels like a Genesis game, but you're playing it on a modern platform, so I have to bust out the Genesis just to play it. Because honestly, I feel like I'm kind of done with pulling out like the Genesis, like to play old school games. But I need like a system all in one, so I can just play everything together. But anyways, this one was pretty cool. I'm liking it so far.
Well,
there's a sequel, I think, too.
Already?
Yeah, there's another game in that series called like something of Asterborg. It's something else. There's another one already.
This next game here,
they sell a combo pack with both games together as well.
Right. Okay. Hopefully you guys like the Dreamcast system. You got your Dreamcast hooked up. Mine's always hooked up.
An underrated system.
It is. It's awesome.
Sega is my second love.
I think the Dreamcast had the best launch ever for a video game system of all time, dude. Like,
they did such a good job before it launched. They really did an amazing job of making you want to buy it. $99.99. Every Dreamcast lover will always remember that.
Yeah, the pictures of it, man, that they have in video of that day, it's so epic, man. Like
the launch lineup is fire.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So good.
It still has one of the best ones ever out of a console. But this game is I think it's I believe it's an RPG. This is Zia, the Goddess of Magic for Dreamcast.
Nice.
I got
Like
this
that
from
cover.
Pixel Heart too. It just came out on PlayStation 1 as well, like an aftermarket game, but that one is like hard to find, and just yeah. But the Dreamcast version obviously is easier to find. It's being sold, I believe, from Pixel Heart, and it might be Video Games New York as well. But this is an RPG, aftermarket RPG for the system, and haven't played it yet, so I can't tell you too much about it. But I think since it's on 2 different systems, it might be good. It came out on PS1, now it's on Dreamcast, so there is some demand for it. So,
Is that a translated version of it, or was it already in English?
it's already in English, for what I believe. Yeah, remember, yeah.
Okay.
And next up, we got here from our good friends at Project Retro Games. I got Cotton 2 for
Nice.
the Sega Saturn.
Saturn,
This
let's
is English
go.
version, and the sealed version comes with a poster. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
I'm happy
Nice.
about that. Get to play Cotton 2 in English. I had the original version years ago, and I got rid of it, and that was one of my favorite games on the system. But now I don't care about getting it back because now I can play the game in English because all the story in this game is like very funny, so it's going to be nice to know what's going on. So happy about that. And last
Yeah, the
but not
story is like Cotton likes candy, and then there's like a big tittied girl that flies around. That's all I know. That's all I know about any Cotton game. And I don't even know if Cotton's a dude. Is it a dude?
no, it's a girl.
Is it a girl?
Yeah,
I literally
Willow.
don't know.
It is. It's a female.
No. I know that
yeah,
she likes tea.
I should have broke the seal on this one, but this is the Resident Evil collection by Project Red Games, which comes with Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil Outbreak for the PS1.
Oh, I don't think you showed this one. You showed off a different
D-makes
one.
of them.
Yeah, D-makes. So
Oh, that's
this,
cool.
Yeah, I would show you the cover of it, but the poster's in the front, and I haven't opened this yet because I'm gonna do like an unboxing video. But
Gotcha.
you see the side there, and you get to play these cool
That's
D-makes
cool.
Yeah, that's
on
cool.
PS1. So
Oh,
if you still don't have a PS2 today and you want to play Resident Evil, hey, get this collection. You can play these games
Resident
on the
Evil
PS1.
4.
Well, that's how
PS1
Resident
is
Evil
intriguing.
0 was meant to be played, or like Resident Evil 1.5. You know, how you
Yeah.
get that on one.
Right,
PS1
exactly. If you know the history of Zero, then it makes sense.
Yeah, 0. I remember I think I was like a freshman in high school when they announced 0 for the 64, and we were all pumped up like, oh my god, Resident Evil game for the N64, and never came out, but at least we got it on the GameCube.
They had advertisements of that in like magazines back then, just like
Mhm.
they did with 1.5, where there was so much media coverage of it before they restarted to what we got as RE2 today.
Yeah,
We got it on the
definitely.
Wii too, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm
We-
pretty sure it's on the Wii. Yeah,
Yeah, we got a
The
port
archive collection.
of we got a port of the remake and Zero on Wii. The
They're good versions
archives.
too.
They
Very
are,
good
yep.
versions. Yeah, so that's all I got for pickup. So hope you guys
You
found
know,
something cool in there.
Those Project Retro games, like I really want to get the Lunar releases, but only if like he still has posters for those. I really love the cover arts for the Lunar
I
games.
believe
They
he-
would look really good.
I'm pretty sure he does. He was saying he was on his last copies of it, but I believe he has posters for him still. So, yeah. He said after I did my video a while back, he said they a lot sold because like a lot of people didn't know they existed on his page. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Like maybe I'll get in contact with him if he replies to my message. Like, hey, do you still have posters of Lunar 1 and 2? Like that's the reasons why I would get them, honestly, because I can't find like any merch of like the Lunar games because they're not as well known as Final Fantasy.
You
and
should
Persona,
probably
of course.
Get the
even go the
dolls.
route of asking him like whether if he doesn't have any, if he has any extra that he could just roll up and send to you with the game, so you could probably frame them instead of having them folded. Because what I'm
Right.
going to do with mine, I'm actually going to like try to like get them unfolded and put them in a frame. But they have those posters like in a frame because they deserve to be in a frame. Honestly,
They
what I mean?
do,
Like, they're
yes.
that good.
Yeah, the creases would be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, see if you can get them to roll them up and ship them into them in a tube or something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, they do make like dolls for Lunar. I've seen like little action figures, dolls or whatever.
Mhm.
I've seen those. They're pretty big too. So, but that's like pretty much the only thing I've ever seen other than the games.
Is it only Instagram that he has messaging on, or any other platforms he uses?
He has Facebook, but it's like I don't think he uses it that much. So Instagram is probably the easiest way for you to get in contact with him.
It's the platform he uses most in general too, is Instagram anyways.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. So that's Project Retro Games, you said, right?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, well, check it out, guys, if you're interested.
It's
Very
called
cool.
Lunar Unworking Design.
And check out Reggie's video on GameStop that went out earlier because he missed the conversation. We talked about it. We're talking shit. So
Were you guys talking shit?
yeah, no, I think
Yeah, we were
pretty
talking
fair.
about it
Oh, yes,
earlier.
Pretty
Shit.
fair overall.
I did another
Um,
video too with Nick, and I'll probably put that out tomorrow. But just to close out with it, I mean, I know you guys already talked about it,
Mhm.
but I would like to see GameStop succeed with the retro thing, but I don't see how it's possible because there's so many people who have picked up the slack. And what you said, Joe, in our chat earlier, is that man, GameStop got to the point where they were throwing away cases. Like they didn't value these games like that. You know, that's why now they want to dip their toe back. Hey, we want to sell retro games again after you destroyed a lot of them. So it's
Exactly.
Like,
If
don't
you
know.
got rid of all the cases and all the manuals and all the extras and the little maps and you just tossed them. Ugh, disgraceful.
Here's our
Hey, Dumpster
disc
Diving
only
fun, but-
section, guys.
I couldn't. Oh man, like I'd be like working at a kill shelter and I'd be like saving all the animals. I wouldn't be able to do that. They'd be like, go throw all these
Yeah.
away. I'd be like, fuck no.
No.
Put them in
I'd
the
be
trunk of my
fired
car.
within like 2
Get
days.
out of here. I would never ever trash that stuff. Never.
Why'd you get fired? I saved 10 manuals, all right?
Be like Pee Wee Herman running out of the thing with the snakes. Ah!
In fact, recently I had like an empty case of Advance Wars Days of Ruin on the DS. I didn't need it anymore and it was damaged. I got a replacement of it. My local game store, when I went there to trade a few things I didn't need anymore, is like, hey, take this empty case. I don't need it. I don't care what you give me for it. If anything, just take it. I don't need it. I love the store a lot, so I give them a lot of support as much as I can too. So that's why I just gave it to them.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, DStreet, where can people find you? I know you're on YouTube. You got
They
an
can find
Instagram or
me.
anything too, or
I do have a Twitter. I'm sure it is just at DStreet319. Over the weekend, I do have plenty of free time. I think I will be making some videos, like a little bit of a comeback I'll probably be doing. So
Cool.
maybe look forward to some uploads pretty soon. I'll keep hush of what they'll be, but just stay tuned for that if you're interested.
very cool. And I put a link to the YouTube down in the comments. Same thing. Reggie's channels, everything's down in the comments. Figsy's channels, everything's down in the comments. Figsy been streaming like crazy, playing the GeoGuessr.
Yeah, I've been streaming
Gonna
like
tear.
5 days a week.
Yeah,
Pumping
dude,
it
like
out.
every morning. I'm like, I feel bad. You stream like 6 a.m. I'm like,
Wow.
I can't do this. But yeah, dude, check it out. It's really cool. And then I have a channel too. You can sub to. I don't do shit, but you can sub to it. Also, if you guys don't, as always, if you mind, commenting, that really helps us. Liking the videos, sharing the videos, all that stuff. Appreciate your support. And yeah, thanks for watching the episode. I hope you guys had a good one. We had a nice long one here, almost 3 hours. Let's go. And next
Hungry.
week we'll be back on Thursday. And we'll have RNG Gamer as the guest, which should be a good time. So that's going to be a really
Nice.
good show. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys later.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night,
everybody.
guys.
Oh, let's see if I can find the button. Oh, there it is.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting sets, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready, you got one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation